Feel that beat getting strong so that you. Okay. Feel that beat. Now, let me see. I don't got nobody yet. Hello, 7 people. Let me see. We're going to build this up. Oh, yes. We're about to go to war today with someone I love going to war with, which is Joe Biden Sr. and Jr. All of them are scum. Give me a second. Come on in. Happy Friday to everybody. Hello, how you doing, Ivory Coast? Let me just go ahead and open this up. Good afternoon, America and the world. This is Dr. Randy Short. Happy Friday to you. It is approximately 4:18 Eastern Standard Time on January 15th, 2021. This would be Martin Luther King's, I believe, 91st birthday today. Peace and love to everyone. I am here. I am your humble host, here bringing you news and information. And I am quite happy. Happy. How you doing, Ivory Coast? And I see we've got 27 people, 28 people. God bless everybody. Let me just tell you what I'm waiting for the guests. I've been trying. I'm telling you, this weather that we have here is so incredible. It is kicking our behinds. And the temperature dropped so low. Yes, Delaware in the house, welcome. In fact, Delaware, hey, Palmer, you want to come on the show and talk bad about Delaware? Because you're welcome. I need some people that are going to tell the truth. Um, and I love Real Sister, Sister Dominique. God bless everybody. Brother Bag X, I'll just tell you, I've got clothes and such to do it, and bow ties, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Maybe I can do that today. Depends on how silly I feel. You know, I'm more a prophetic person than a funny person, although I can add them all in. I do want to do Brother Bag X, but his look will change. He will go from a bag to a mask. But then again, how do you do that? Palmer, tell me what your email is. What's your email? I don't care. I don't mind talking to people. I'll talk to anybody that's got something to say. I just don't like silliness. So here are the rules. If I have you come in, we have to talk about what we're talking about. We can't talk about, I'm not trying to do anything but talk about this short thing here. Delaware, 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 Delaware. San Antonio, God bless you. God bless everybody. Marty and Gus Muhammad Kouassi. I've got to get with someone. I know there's so much I'm behind on, and I'm going to Kentucky soon. Got to get back on the agricultural stuff. It's going to warm up soon, and we got to do something about this food. Palmer, what's your email? What's your email, Palmer? I can invite you if you want to chat. If you can come in, I don't care. We got to deal with this Delaware thing. And I just want to say to y'all, I'm saying reports that all the best to you, all the best to everybody, that these are the rumors, all this rumor going on, but the rumor is that Donald Trump and them are going to have Joe Biden arrested between today and the 20th, and they may shut down everything and have tribunals. And I don't know whether that's true or not. I know that Delaware has a messy history. I say let's bring it forward. Brother Cam, we need to talk about this. I want to know how to do that. So I've asked, let me see. Uh, I want y'all to, anybody that wants to, I'm waiting for Brother Brendan. He has 8 minutes. Peace to everybody, Fu Manchu and everybody. And I want to remind people that um, if you want to reach out, you can always email me. If it's not a really silly email, I try to respond to people. Um, Sometimes I can't answer your questions, sometimes I can. But I want to let you know, and I need your help. I need exactly 110 more subscribers. If I get 110 subscribers, and I know the audience is out here because I've got just under 3,000, and yet a third of the people who watch what I'm putting on my channel don't subscribe, meaning that if I have 3,000 people that are subscribed almost, that means that there's about 1,000 or more people who watch regularly who haven't subscribed. I would like for all the people that watch to subscribe. That would be nice. I'm not begging. I'm not going to stop being me. I'm not going to lie to you. Uh, and I'm going to always tell you, first and foremost, I have a brother that I want to see if I can get on who is with the Urban Global Health Alliance. His name is Kevin Jenkins. He's the CEO of it. And we want to talk about this whole vaccine thing from an expert in the field, not someone like me who reads scholastic and medical journals and tells you what it's saying, but someone whose profession is doing it. I would like for people to have the best. I'm okay. I I feel good about me, but I don't know. I want to tell you, my mom managed to ask you. If your family's from North Carolina or Virginia, you're my cousin. In fact, hey y'all, I do want some donations. Today, they have a sale for like $89. You can get a DNA. I want to do one more DNA thing. And I don't know. I had a friend in Africa who lost their father and the family home burnt down a few months ago. And I just, and I've been doing this for now 15 years. I have friends in other places, Haiti, Dominican Republic, whatever. I've always tried to send people a piece if I had it. I don't always have, but sometimes I do. And I just sent someone some grocery money because it's tough all over the world. This shutdown is hurting people everywhere. And for all the people in Africa or the Caribbean who think because I criticize unfair treatment of Black Americans that I don't care about people, it's not quite true. Done stuff for people in Brazil all over and continue. And as poor as I am, y'all send me a donation. Sometimes I split it with someone else. I want to see if I can get this channel moving faster. It's going quite well. If I can get 1,000 subscribers, not 1,000, 110 subscribers, and I can get in the next day or so. In particular, how can you help? Share the videos. I have a whole bunch of videos now that only have like 400 or 500 people, And I'm thinking that anyone that wanted to could share. I now have 700 videos all over the internet. 700. You could go to my channel and share the videos, as many as you want. Send them out, Facebook, everywhere else. That would truly help us. I think right about now, if I have an active following, you may not have donations. I'm not mad. You have what you've got. But if you have time, if you could send some of these videos out to several hundred people, this will explode. And it's bigger than me. Uh, and I'll tell you, I'm an undercapitalized 50 something living with his mom. It's true. However, a week from now, I'll be in Kentucky, and we may be going all over the country to meet with black farmers in various places. I've got to call someone who has a huge piece of land in Virginia. On the phone with another person. And I don't own any of the land anywhere. There may be 5 acres in the family in North Carolina. I haven't been there since I was 3 or 4 years old, which is like 52 years ago. Um, but want to do what we can. I want to say to everybody, keep your eyes peeled. They're likely to pick up and start arresting people. There's something about to go down. And by the way, I don't know. I would love for you to Gary, Indiana. I have associates in Gary, Indiana. I have associates in Chicago. Uh, Cousin from North Carolina. Okay, cool. Look, black folks, if we were to be a people, a lot of us would be related. That's why I want to do a 23andMe DNA test. I've never done that, and I want to do one other. Altogether, if I did it, I'd need to spend like two bills, 200 bucks to get these tests. I've done them before, spent about $400 getting tests, but that was one set of tests. All of them aren't the same. Once I do my test, I'm going to talk about it. Not because I want people to have folks' medical history, any of this stuff. I don't I don't like it, but trust me, they can get your stuff no matter what. No matter what you say or do. People can get into your business these days. And that's that. Who is out here from Delaware? And forgive me for, I'm waiting for the guest. I just called him. I know I sent it to him. Let me check and make certain that he's on point. Give me 1 second. Now, everybody on YouTube, hey, how you doing? I'm checking. Yes, I did send it to it. Let me pull this thing up here. This is who I want. Okay, yeah, I'm about to post. Hey, how you doing, G Mars? Love and peace to everybody. Even love and peace to the white folk following. We don't hate nobody. You can come and listen. You'll never get up and hear a whole bunch of we don't like or hate or this, that, and the other. Because to me, if you love yourself and you love God, you love everyone else. Doesn't mean you're going to take crap off of people. Here is the website, a link. I just put it up. That's a secure checkout. Let me get the other thing. Because I was like, this is the company that I want to take the, they have a good reputation. There is an African ancestry one. Okay, Umar Johnson's opening a school. I hope so. I hope Umar Johnson opens a school. I want all of the black people that are out there to do what they say they're going to do. I want Umar Johnson, who has a way huge. These people are so much bigger than me. I'm a little teeny tiny pebble, and they're like a big mountain. I hope the people who get support from the people do what they say. I hope so. God help them to do it. It's needed. If it does not happen, and I go in on someone, it isn't because I'm jealous. It isn't because I'm small. It's because we need it. If you collect the people's resources, like I'm going to Delaware next week, if y'all want to drop a piece on me, you can. And by the way, I thank everybody for the $1 and $5. Look, that's great. Some people do, they have it. I thank God they do. But like I said, there's now 1,000, I'm sorry, not 1,000, 2,898 people following this channel. If all of them said, hey, look, we're going to give Short $3 in a month, whether they did it Patreon, whatever, what is becoming a broadcast platform. Right now, it's me, but I'll say this to anyone. If there's something urgent that you need to break out, my email is everywhere. It is wrandyshort@gmail.com. Uh, oh, I didn't know that Umar Johnson's not. Okay. Hold on. Here goes Brother Brendan. Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me? I don't hear you though. And let me take this off. Okay. Can you unmute your mic? There's a way that you can do that. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you can. Because I can't hear you. And I want to make this so clear. I say this because when this stuff came up about ADOS and FBA and all this other stuff, I want to say to you, we've got to figure out how to balance this. Let me say this to you. When I looked at the last census form my father filled in 2000, my father put on his census, and this is my dad, he mentioned the other ethnic groups that he came from. My grandfather claimed that his great grandfather was Jamaican. His name was Charlie Daniels. Okay. That's my father's great grandfather. He's Jamaican, says my dad. Okay. Not that I don't get, because I've met very mean and harsh, and I don't know. I know why they're like that. Certain Jamaicans, very complicated. Not all, but many. You need to send it to me via my email, Taji Palmer. My email is right up here, but I'll give it to you, and then I can write you. And so it's pretty easy. I will always tell folks, like a teacher, come on, y'all. My email is always up on the screen for the most part. If you send it on the Facebook page, I can't go to it. You need to send it to where I can get it. Once I have this stream, I'm limited, but you can help me by sending it to my email. It's right there. Let me know when you sent it. Sending it via Facebook, that's going to be harder for me to get it. Okay. Hello? Can you hear me? I don't hear you. And I haven't been in touch with Dr. Issa. I've had a lot of stuff to deal with. family stuff. So we can hear both of you, but I can't hear him. So that's the problem. Uh, my mic is on. Uh, let's see. Edit mic settings. Okay, let's put it up. I don't know why that's doing that. hmm Mm, I don't know what that issue is. Hold on 1 second. Can you leave the broadcast and come right back in? Step out for a second. Step out for a second and come back in. And yeah, that way we can get this moving. I can't hear my guest. And so I need to be able to hear too. And understand, I put up, I had something to say about Joe Biden. A lot of folks in tech are for Biden, they're anti Trump. I don't think you have to love Trump, but if you think Biden's better, you're out of your mind. I believe the black community is in for a major shock. A major shock. Uh, 712 8th Street is still good. The only thing I'd say to you is that you have to put it in. Let me know. That is a good address. So I'm hoping for him to come back. Um, Brother Cam, when are you going to do my show? I need you, Solid Cam, to do a show even today. When are you going to talk about reparations? I really need you. I don't know about it as well as you do, but I know right here in DC, if enough of us got behind, there's a brother named Cam who's a phenomenal man in Chicago. Beautiful man, smart man, genius man, wonderful brother. Uh, we need to get him on our channel because he knows about MFM. And I haven't said that. MFM, everybody. MFM, if we need our money, we need it now and more than a stimulus check. And we're worthy of it and we can get it. If those devils storming the Capitol can generate, we could show up on the Capitol grounds and get what we need. Okay. And I'm sorry that it's a couple of minutes. Okay, here we go. Can you hear me? Now, what are you doing with your sound? I can't hear you. Is there anything that you can do with me? I don't know what it is. Is there some sort of external mic? I can't see your system. Huh? Okay. All right. Take you off or what? Okay. Take you out? Do you want to be removed from the stream? Oh, wait a minute. Were you still on the phone with me? Did you hang up your phone? Are you sure? Okay. Uh, hmm. Let me see something. Okay, can you unmute yourself? Okay, you just did. Edit mic settings. Okay. Speak again. No. What is going on here? Face. Oh, I see. Audio. Okay, speak again. Hmm. Uh, you hear static. I don't hear anything. And I'm unmuting this. Okay, speak again. No, I don't hear you. Now they hear you. I can't hear you. Let me get out of the stream real fast. Maybe they've got my thing messed up. Hold on. Speak again. I'm sorry about this harassment, guys, because that's okay. I'll be going to restream soon. I'm gonna quit this service if they don't get this damn thing together. They can't continue to do this with me. Hello? Hello? Huh. You can hear me, but I need to hear the guest. Otherwise, I'm going to call you from another phone because this is annoying. Yeah, try your headphones. Huh. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's try it again. Hello? You have your headphone on? Oh man, folk are gonna be mad at this recording. Wow. Hold on, I'm gonna call you because I'm sick of this. Vaughn. Okay, so I've got to shut this here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move stuff around, so I'll have to do this. from two angles. Now let's see what we can do. Can you speak for a second?
Yes, sir.
Speak again. Yeah, but it's too low, so I need you to turn your sound all the way up. It's still not going to do it.
No.
Yeah, if I put on.
Now.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can
Yeah,
you hear
it
me?
says an echo. Let me see if I can take the echo off. I'm put on echo cancellation. Speak again.
Hello, 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 hello.
It's kicking my ass on the sound. You know what? Just do it through the phone. Screw the video, because they're just kicking our ass over the sound.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm backing out of here, right?
Right.
All right.
Sorry, I would have loved to have had him on video, but this thing is just not working. If y'all have watched this, it's not like I'm a master of this at all, but it's not this hard. It really isn't. It's really not that hard to do this stuff. It truly isn't. Can you hear me, B?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me good enough?
Yeah, you're right next to the speaker. Microphone. Everybody, can you hear the speaker? Everybody, let me know that you can hear it.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Turn your mic all the way down. No, I can't do that. It's not working. Okay, here we go. Uh Brothers and sisters, pardon us for the technical challenges. You would be amazed. For the last 3, 4 days, when I put up different topics, uh, YouTube has been taking down my announcements. I don't talk about violence. I don't really talk about sex. I don't talk about hurting anybody or anything. They just take it down. So the social media people are very much against freedom of speech. They're against us doing anything that we do. So just know that, because there's no reason that there should be a problem with these streams. None. You could hear him, but I couldn't hear him. How come I can't get his mic adjusted to hear, but y'all can? How is that possible unless there's something inside? Remember the other day, my phone was doing stuff. They are really at war with information. They are about
Absolutely.
controlling people's minds. But without further ado, Brother B here is in Delaware.
Yes, sir.
Brother B is a Delaware native. Oh, look, now my video is gone. Now all of a sudden my video is gone. Look at that.
Oh, your video went out.
Well, let me go back. My video went out for 1 second. Okay, so I'm glad you can hear me. Now, look, it's real simple. Brother B lives in Delaware. Brother B is an activist in Delaware. He's a Philadelphia native. He's a father of two. He's got a military background and is in all kinds of phenomenal things, high tech, personal service, health and wellness, you name it. He's an entrepreneur and a good brother. And the reason I
Praise
wanted to
God.
have him here was because many of you who I do not respect your political choice. And yes, there are all kinds of racists with Confederate flags that Donald Trump has been blowing whistles to. All is true. But I do not respect not one black person that voted for Joe Biden, because Joe Biden has a history that's 5 decades deep of racial hatred. I can remember Joe Biden attacking black people as a 7-year old, and I'm 56. He hates black people's guts. He's connected with the elite. Delaware is one of the most racist, backward states in the country. At the same time, Delaware has one of the largest black populations in the country. Anywhere from 30 to 40% or more of the people in Delaware are black. You did not know that, making Delaware either second to Mississippi, if not above Mississippi, and having a black population. Believe that or not, there is a history of racism, intolerance, and injustice, and it's incredible. So,
Truth.
uh, how does this come to me? There's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Jahi Issa. I attended Howard University with him. He's in the Department of History, in the Department of African Studies. Jahi Issa reached out to me and other people back 9 years ago regarding black people being murdered, lynched, disappeared in Delaware,
Mm-hmm.
and that the Ku Klux Klan and Nazis would openly distribute warnings that they would kill one nigger at a time. Nothing was done. In fact, excuse me, the current head of what used to be called the United Negro College Fund, now called the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, Dr. Harry Williams, a crooked, deceitful, boule traitor black who's in charge of the United Negro College Fund, now called the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, even went as far as to punish Dr. Issa for encouraging his students to rally against receiving death threats. This is what boule, traitor, coon black people do. They fight against the few black people. And this is what I'm going to say to you. Everything happening to black people now that's negative could be stopped if the successful black so-called leadership, whatever, were serious about helping black people. They absolutely are not. They want you to be killed by the police. They want you not to get your stimulus checks. They want you to be gentrified. They want you to be brutalized by the police and mass incarcerated. And they help facilitate the persecution and abuse and exploitation of the black majority. And if they did not do it, these things couldn't happen. Dr. Harry Williams made certain that Dr. Issa was fired and run out of Delaware State University for saying it was wrong for black people to be threatened with murder by racial terrorists. This is what black boule traitor elites do. I repeat, a black college professor saying it's wrong for us to be murdered was framed, fired, and thrown in jail by the black elite coons who run our communities. None of this stuff that happens to us is not supported by the ones you see on television every day. This garbage couldn't happen without their support. And in other words, every time you see a black person shot, killed, and beaten by police or anybody, there's a black person benefiting from it, keeping their mouths shut, going to the wine and cheese socials and beer bashes as we die. And we'll never, as a people, be anything or get anywhere until we have a revolution against these people. The lynchings of blacks in Delaware have been going on for over 100 years. Nothing is even done. It's not even discussed. Police murders of blacks in Delaware. You'll never hear about it in the news. It never comes up. You'll hear about a black being killed in Alaska, Utah, everywhere but Delaware, because it's the corporate heart of the white supremacist capitalist structure in this country. And Joe Biden is their agent. And you goddamn coons voted for his ass. You voted for more murders, more lynchings. As I speak to you right now, there's a missing black man in Delaware, and there's no discussion of it. This has been going on for years. I've been watching. Black folks just disappear. They wash up on the beach. It's always a suicide or it's an accidental drowning. How many people drown with their clothes on? Or it's a suicide.
Yeah.
In the history of Delaware,
Yep.
there have been 2 protests that I'm aware of against lynching. One was led by Dr. Jahi Issa back in 2012, in which he was thrown in jail, non-violently saying, "Don't kill us." And the black elites called the police to throw him in jail. This is how they do it. Are y'all understanding me? Now, the other protest was led a few months ago by Brother B here. Mysterious things happened to his car, threatening communications from the government in Delaware, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Even efforts to infiltrate his effort by Black Lives Matter and Antifa and other such people. And so, what I wanted to do is say to you that throughout Delaware, they have the most corrupt police on a statewide level in the nation. Nothing is ever done about it. And black folks have lived under apartheid in Delaware perhaps better than any other state in the country. Black folks in Delaware have had, to show you how interesting it is, most people are aware, and of course today is Dr. King's birthday, that there was a riot in Washington, D.C., the worst was here, on April 4th and 5th through the 7th of 1968. But most people don't know, and most people think that was the last big explosion of black rage was in April of 1968. Many people don't know that a year later, Delaware had a big riot, and it didn't happen. You'll hear about Chicago everywhere. You won't hear about Delaware. It's because it's a little corporate company town state. And no one, no matter how many blacks get killed, there's a black man in a wheelchair shot 25 times by the police in Delaware. At the height of Black Lives Matter in 2015, it never made the news. You mean Michael Brown got shot 3 times? That's the news. But the man that got shot in Delaware 20 times in a wheelchair, it's not news, no matter how many people get killed in Delaware. Let me explain something to y'all. Roger Stone, one of the greatest political operatives of the last 50 years in this country, could not break a news story on lynching in Delaware against Joe Biden. There is a media blackout, including punk-ass Roland Martin, including Boyce Watkins, none of them. Yes, I said Boyce's name for you spies out here. I rarely mention the other black people, but you know what? None of them. Not Breaking Brown, not Tariq Nasheed. Nobody talks about Delaware and the racism there, and the lynchings and the murders. Then I ask, no one, not a fucking soul. No church, no leadership, no one. So blacks in Delaware live in total fear. At least in DC, if someone shot me in the head, it would make the news. If someone killed you in Delaware, it's just not discussed. What was my experience when Joe Biden Jr. was Attorney General and he covered up for a minimum of 6 black people being lynched?
Yeah.
6, at least 6. I want to let you know that those same people, because I and others went who were friends of Dr. Issa. So someone mentioned Irritated Jeannie. Jeannie is friends to Issa. Some of us who have mutual friends, all went to do what we could do for Dr. Issa. I just want to say to you that we got death threats where people knew where we lived and we were told we would be killed. I'm talking about me dying over just asking. How the hell do they know where to find me? I didn't put my address out. I didn't do any public service. I didn't do anything. They literally had black people within the movement to expose lynching to snitch on black people who were opposed to this murder. And this was when Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. There was a big rally. Excuse me. There was one other rally that Dr. Issa had, in which Pam Africa, who I think I introduced to Issa, so I did what I could do to help expose the lynchings and killings in Delaware. I want to let you know the NAACP, the National Asshole Network, Urban Greed, Southern Poverty Law, none of these people would even investigate because they support. So if it's a Democratic city or state, they can kill all the black people that they want, unless there's a major grassroots movement to stop it. There was no Black Lives, there's nothing, no, and nobody came. Sister Denise Johnson, whose son Gregory Johnson was lynched in San Jose State University in California, flew across the country. Many people came to Delaware to protest the lynchings. There's a complete news blackout, as it was for B's protest. Every time you try to bring attention to Delaware and murder, and I want to say that the faggots and the national, what's this thing called, the NABJ, a bunch of Trumps, punks, queers. The only thing they care about is sex. These black professionals. Even James Baldwin, sucking on white men, spoke up. I'm going to say this: black gays are the biggest traitors in our community because they're selfish and they only care about their personal pleasure. The old school black gays were black first. Their sex was what they did. Nowadays, it's so twisted. What they do is who they are, and who they are is secondary. That's why they hate Donald Trump so much. And Joe Biden was promising to make all this queerness a protected class. I hope to God that the rumors are true, that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and others are arrested because the direction that they've been taking, our community in particular, has been to an early grave. I've said all I've had to say, and we started late due to the technology problems. Brother B,
Yes, sir. I'm
the
here.
floor is yours. If you want me to
Yeah.
ask you questions to help guide you along, that's fine. If you want to do an overview of Delaware and its strange history about black people, do whatever you want. Take 30 minutes, take 20 minutes. I beg of everybody to listen. Please
Well,
listen.
we will. The way I prefer to do it is kind of the way when we converse normally and naturally. You know, if there's something that you jump in on, then that's fine. Um, as I was listening to you, the one of the last points that you were making was about the blackout. So I'll start there. Because I found that I found that to be disturbing. That was very disturbing because you're talking about, um, obviously we're talking about, press and freedom of press and the right to essentially, just expose expose information and you would think truth, but I mean, I know when we talk about mainstream and mass media, that we're not talking about truth. We're talking about a very controlled structure and system. But we actually we had gotten kudos and it was a big deal that we had the largest papers in the largest newspapers in the state to come out to that rally that you were referencing.
Okay, and
For
this rally took place when? And this is about lynching, right? The Clark
Yep,
brothers. There was one brother.
yep,
What's
yep.
Clark's first name?
Yeah. So so
What's his
Johnny
first?
Clark.
Johnny
So Johnny
Clark
Clark.
was
Yep.
lynched, and then Johnny Clark's brother was going to the head court in Dover, Delaware, to testify about his brother being lynched, and he was assassinated in front of the court.
The following
The
year.
following
Yeah.
year, there's
So
no video
if
evidence. All the cameras they got everywhere. When the guy says, "My brother's been lynched," and it looked like his hands were tied and his clothes were wet and this, that, and the other, and he's shot dead in front of the courthouse. In downtown Dover, Delaware, there's no evidence of anything.
Yeah, yeah. So that was, and then we spoke to, I spoke to, man, that was bad, to their mother, and man, she,
How was
as
that?
you know,
Talking
we
to his
spoke a,
mother.
we spoke a few times, and it was hard. It was rough. It was rough for me because I mean, as we spoke the first time, she literally started to cry over the phone, and I could hear that the emotion was still like raw,
Uh-huh.
and it had been several years. I mean, we talking Johnny Clark was in 2012,
And there have
and
been
then
people killed 20 years prior to
and
that.
then David
Folks,
Clark was assassinated, like you said, in 2015. So this is 2020. Last year when we spoke, I had the opportunity to speak when we were setting up the rally, and she made it very clear that that she still wants closure. That she knows that it wasn't right.
uh,
What was done in that specific case with Johnny Clark, she was so the family was barred access to all of the, I believe you already mentioned it, all of the personal effects. So Johnny Clark's body was taken from the scene of, I'll say, the scene of the crime,
so they tampered with
and
the evidence. They
all the way to the
contaminate
funeral home.
they
We're
contaminated the
talking,
crime scene for Johnny Clark.
they were completely cut off from everything
The
all the
family
way
couldn't have
until
any
the
of his
day
stuff.
before the funeral.
Okay, so the day before the funeral, when they got
That
this,
was the first time she was able to get to see her son.
am I right or am I wrong? The mother and the stepfather fear that they'll be murdered for wanting closure.
Yes, they were very afraid on the phone. And
Uh,
that is the overall emotion, that is the overall feeling. That is really what's going on in Delaware.
okay, stop
And
for a second. What
okay,
you want people to hear is that many black people in Delaware live in a state of fear that they will be murdered by white
absolutely.
racial terrorists who are supported by the Biden machine. And may I go further? Is there not a place called Silver Lake Park in Dover, Delaware, where many black people feel if you go there, you can just be lynched? There's
Yes.
some. Okay, so yes,
Yeah,
there's a
it's
place where they hang black people for
yes.
fun in Delaware. Everybody
Absolutely.
knows. So does Joe Biden. The only
It's
people that don't
commonplace.
know,
Nobody goes there after. You don't go there after dark.
don't go there after dark or you will disappear.
Yeah, you don't go there after dark. The the trees, the trees that the limbs. If you would go to this park and see where they try to say that these men hung themselves from, the limbs of the trees are. We're talking like 10 feet in the air, 9 feet in the air. No way possible anybody would ever be able to go and string themselves up on trees like this size. Like you see the trunks. It's
Mm-hmm.
everything in the stories make no sense,
Uh-huh.
which is why we've been begging to get to get exposure and light to this.
Let,
Like you said,
let,
all the way back to Dr. Jahi.
let me ask you a question. How do you feel about dumb fuck black folks who run around cheering about Biden being a solution to Trump?
I mean, that's ridiculous. If you just look at Biden's, if you look at his history in terms of legislature, then I mean, it's 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 clear. It's nothing to even dispute or talk about. Like that's all emotions with with anybody. Anybody that's purely emotional,
Mm-hmm.
based on just more so just wanting to get rid of, and I'm saying it the way that it comes off, get rid of the current president, as opposed to it is actually investigating the track record of the gentleman that's supposed to come into the office next.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you a question. There's another guy. I think his name is.
And I shouldn't have said gentleman, by the way. I should by
Okay, now what people need
say
to
that.
know is there's another guy. I think his last name is Fordham.
Yes, Henry Fordham.
Henry
Henry
Fordham.
Fordham.
Now, let me give you
We
my story
mhm,
for everybody listening. Henry Fordham at one point used to live with the black woman minister who was an associate of Dr. Jahi Issa.
mhm, mhm,
When we were trying to get the frightened blacks in Delaware to say, hey, look, y'all, being afraid won't stop people from killing you. You've got to do something, or else you're emboldening the folks who are killing you. And black women, this is why I'm very, very harsh with certain types, because y'all need to be called out. This ignorant black woman accused Dr. Issa and the rest of us who were risking our lives to try to stop black people from being murdered for being troublemakers.
mhm.
I'm a troublemaker because I think it's wrong that black people shouldn't get hung or threatened. And I want to say that so
Absolutely.
many of our sisters are enemies of the community. Many, too many. I can get if she didn't agree with me, but did you have to make me a bad person to think it's wrong? This is a preacher. This is a damn lady preacher. Supposedly, the solution to everything is to make in the church all these women preachers because the men are no damn good. Okay, let's say the men are no damn good. We got women preachers every damn where now. Have things gotten better? Hell no. I'll answer my own question. So I said to this woman, I heard a man walk in the house as I talked to her, as I was begging her to help us so nobody else gets killed. You don't have to put your name out. Just don't be against us saying no to black people being murdered. Is that too much to ask? When you talk to a pork chop feminist, whenever they can disagree with the black man, no matter what he's talking about, they do it. I got.
Yeah, that's been my yeah. That's that can. Oh, I'm.
Go
You know
ahead.
what,
Go
Doc?
ahead. You can.
Yeah, is that good? Okay, so that brings to mind, because you hit on another point, which was that we were being we were actively being infiltrated. We were not only actively being infiltrated while we organized the rally and the movement and everything that was, of course, that we were doing behind everything.
And this was
But
last year.
yes, this was last summer.
Who was infiltrating?
As you said, it ultimately was Black Lives Matter,
Black, represented by men or women?
which was linked with Antifa women.
Okay, so it's black women that they use to bring down the effort to expose the lynching of black people,
Yeah,
not
as
white
friendlies,
women.
and that's something that is going on in Delaware actively even now.
Actively, even now, the
You
people
mentioned
that they're
Jeremy
using.
McDowell. I wanna bring up and bring light to Bam McDowell, Jeremy McDowell. I want to say that name because if you haven't heard of the Jeremy McDowell case, Bam McDowell, that Jeremy is the young black man that was in need of medical attention. He was having a mental health crisis, and like you said, he was shot over 20 times by the Wilmington police.
Shot
And
20. This was last year.
no, Jeremy McDowell was shot in 2015,
Okay, this
and
is a
his
guy that was shot.
family
Okay, yes. I
his
got you.
family is still seeking justice. His sister is leading. She's been an activist now for the last 3 or 4 years
Can you get
since
her on this
she's
platform? Because I believe we can do something.
absolutely.
And I want to say something. I personally encountered a Black Lives Matter Antifa broad trying to stop your effort, as you know.
Yes.
And I told you, I'm not mad. I love black women, but I can't stand pork chop feminist. That it was a
Mm-hmm.
setup. Did I not tell you, oh my God, brother, this is awful. I'm not trying to tell you who you can be friends to. I'm not mad if she's got nice boobs.
No, you did. You
Okay,
did.
I did.
You called it from the beginning.
Okay, yeah,
That's
we called the broad out. She didn't like me. I ain't like her. But I'm going to go
yeah,
back to this woman
yeah.
minister. When the woman minister accused me, Dr. Issa, and it's you black men, y'all cause all the problems, y'all know. And here I am saying no to murder, no to violence, no to racial terror. And the pushback I got from this woman minister was that we were bad and stirring up stuff. Not the white men killing, but the black men saying don't kill anybody, right? And I had to say to this woman, I swear to y'all, and this is why I dismiss people a lot. I heard a man, someone moved behind her. I sensed it was a man. And I said to her, okay, sister, I get it. Damn me, I'm a black man and black men ain't nothing and you black women have everything. I get it. But let me tell you something, sister. Since you won't help us save lives when you call yourself a damn minister of God, the next time you'll call me crying when they try to hang the man that lives in your house. When he gets back to you, you'll call me crying. That's when we'll talk next. I hung up. 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
Mr. Fordham escapes being lynched by 3 white men.
Yeah.
The lady calls me
So
crying. She calls
it
me
was
crying and shrieking.
mm,
And I said to her, sister, this never had to happen. Did I ask you for money? Did I ask you for sex? Did I ask you to hate anybody? Did I ask you to buy a gun? Did I ask you to march? I just asked you to be concerned. And you told me something's wrong with me now that it's in your house. The way many black people are selfish, narcissistic assholes. They only care when it hurts them directly. And what does that mean, people? It means that a whole lot of us have to die, get shot, beaten, evicted before we can have some common collective sense that we've got to do something. And I reject the feminist concept that women are more justice oriented than men. It's a damn lie. And proof of that lie is
mm-hmm.
there are enough women in positions in Delaware and in Philadelphia to
we,
ask about this black mother who had two sons murdered. They don't feel nothing for Mrs. Clark.
you know what happens? What happens, Dr. Randy, is that it becomes the same thing, but even worse in terms of just moving for power. You know, it's like this desire to be in this position, and it's like nothing beyond that. It's like an
That's it. And
intentional
we've got all
blocking
of
out.
these Oprah Winfrey powerful black women, and yet the rates of murder, gentrification has exploded on the watch of these strong black women. The castrated, simp, weak ass black men who don't speak up or are traitors like Al Sharpton. I want to make it clear we see them too, but I want to say in this case of Delaware, the black mothers of these men that are lynched, they don't have any help or support. Delaware is just 2 hours from Washington, 3 hours max. Where is the Congressional Black Caucus? Where's the NAACP? Where are the National Council of Negro Women, the National Congress of Black Women? There's so many. All these hoes wear hats and they talk all this shit about Me Too. But when a black mother has her child lynched, you can't. Where are they? And yet I saw also with Kamala Harris, who also covered up lynchings and murders and rapes of blacks in California. And to watch, with all due respect, you dumbass black women run up behind Kamala Harris like she's a sister when all she's done is hurt black women, black men, and black babies. And y'all get into your emotion of, well, I hate Trump. But yet ask yourself, relatively speaking, who's destroyed the most black people? Biden and Harris or Trump? I don't dig Pence. This is the first. In fact, this is the first time you've heard me mention Pence. Am I correct, brother? I don't even talk about
Yeah,
Pence. I
yeah,
I I,
yeah.
I get Indiana. So, but the number one dude, Orange Man, is less a threat to us than Biden or Schumer. And anybody that wants a picture of Schumer slobbering on a black girl, and all of you trifling black female Democrats or die type, yes, I'm insulting you. Yes, I'm calling y'all bitches. Y'all support the sexual exploitation, abuse of black babies and women by supporting the Biden cause. Brother, am I right that Delaware has a high rate of people disappearing and human trafficking? At least that's the talk. You can
Yes,
disappear.
absolutely.
So,
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
black
Yes,
women
that is.
disappearing all
Yes,
over Delaware.
yes.
But
It's
y'all
like you
hoes are
said.
all
It's
up,
it's
all
tucked.
up under this damn Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Yes, say it again.
Well, it's tucked away. It's like you said. This is Delaware. Delaware is like you said. Delaware is the mailbox state. We are the mail state. Like all of the corporations come through here. We do. This is the corporation incorporating state. So at the end of the day, all the banks are incorporated here. So the money comes through Delaware. We hold Delaware holds the keys to so much, and people don't realize it, which is why, like you said, the media it's a media blackout on anything that is
Bad
adverse or negative in
in
Delaware
Delaware.
because it is literally the first state, but it's a small state in which people easily forget about.
Mm-hmm.
But we set the precedent and we set the tone for so much in legislature and law, which is why when you look at that again, the track record of Joe Biden, then you see how anti-black America actually is. He's just a reflection of it.
Oh, by the
He's
way, when did Delaware outlaw slavery? If you remember.
it was post. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Eight. No, actually, officially, it wasn't until into the 1900s.
Right. Delaware.
19. I want to say 1910.
It's therein. Okay, so look, Delaware didn't acknowledge that black people weren't slaves until after 1900.
Mm-hmm.
Even Mississippi, even Alabama, even Georgia, with the Klan killing people, at least on paper, acknowledged that black people weren't slaves within a few years after the Civil War. Delaware was the last state of the original American states that existed prior to 1800, was the very last state to
Yes.
approve that black people were not slaves.
Yeah. They were actual people.
In
Yeah.
fact, Delaware had already created a system of apartheid for black people before the Civil War even started. Many people know about the Brown versus Board of Education case, but are not aware that Delaware was in the Brown case, one of the many cases. There was a case here in Washington, D.C., for my Bishop Smallwood Williams Sr., for his son, Smallwood Williams Jr., to go to school. That the Brown case wasn't just in Topeka, Kansas. There was a case for the Swans in South Carolina. I knew the Swans. And there was a case for Delaware that you never hear about. And in fact, Delaware, thanks to Joe Biden, who many of you assholes voted for, made certain that Delaware schools were so segregated and unjust until up until the middle 1990s. The school system of Delaware was under a consent decree of the United States Department of Education and the Civil Justice Department, longer than any other place in the country. And y'all voted.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't even look. Y'all didn't even notice. I mean, it's sad. So, blacks in Delaware are murdered, victimized, poor, undereducated. In fact, like Mississippi, if you want to make it in Delaware, you need to leave because there's nothing there for you. I want to just say to you that y'all who hate Donald Trump, as much as you hate Donald Trump, he could trot out dozens and dozens of black friends and associates that he had. When Joe Biden went to do any public speaking in Delaware, he couldn't get more than 6 or 7 black people. After 50 years of public service, couldn't get more than 6 or 7 blacks in the state to be seen with him. You hate Trump, but he can get crowds. You love Biden, he can't get a quorum. Being dumb as fuck black people is a guaranteed way to get exterminated in the information age when people hate your guts. You say this white supremacy, structural white supremacy, Neely Fuller. Well, goddammit, how are you going to navigate out of white supremacy? Being stupid, not reading, not thinking, saying, hey, wait a minute. This guy's running for president. He's in Delaware. He was there for decades. All right. Well, are there any black people in Delaware? That would give us some indication of how black people might benefit if he's president. Did you fucking bust a grape? Any? Nobody. It didn't happen. They didn't do it for Bernie Sanders. Delaware has one of the highest rates of mass incarceration for blacks in the country. Go and Google and try to get information on blacks in Delaware. You'll find it almost nearly impossible to learn anything about black people in Delaware.
Yeah, so blacked out.
It's not supposed. Look, I used to spend my summers in Delaware. My father liked going to Cape Henlopen in Delaware. But even then, I'm going back, 51 years ago. We never, ever, ever ever were out at night in Delaware. We always drove in the morning. We didn't eat out when we were in Delaware. We took our food from Virginia to Delaware and we stayed in our cabin and we stayed away from other people. In fact, I didn't even know that there were black people in Delaware. They were hidden. I didn't know Delaware had black people because the blacks were so, they were in none of the stores. You didn't even see them. They didn't exist. I think one time we went somewhere, we saw a black person and they saw us and they ran. I was trying to figure out that's strange. What they run for? My father, in his wisdom, I always wanted to go. I know Delaware's got Dairy Queens everywhere. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
My
Yeah.
father never, ever, ever let us go in a Dairy Queen. Never. Not one time. I never went. I remember always wanting to go to Dairy Queen, and my father sensed the danger. We never stopped anywhere in Delaware. We drove up with our food. We used the restroom before we left home, and we pissed when we got to the cabin. Don't talk to anyone. Don't go anywhere. Don't wander too far. I wondered
Well,
why is
Dr.
my
Randy, that brings up that you were talking about the emotion. Remember the emotion and the energy, especially in Sussex County, which is the lowest county in the state. Kent County is the middle county. Newcastle County is the top. We consider like more of the city. It's Wilmington and Newcastle and down into Middletown. So down in Sussex County in particular, you can still see the remnants of sharecropping.
yes, you
I
can.
mean, yeah, I mean, 100%. It's still, it's still a lot of living off of the land, and and there's still that that old Southern feel.
And blacks from Philadelphia know to
And when I
keep.
say old Southern, you know what we mean:
Yes, I
deep
do. I
South,
do know.
not South Delaware. We mean Mississippi. You know,
People, black folks in New Jersey and Pennsylvania know to keep their asses out of Delaware because you will get smashed. There's another place like Delaware. It's called Eastern Shore, Maryland. Eastern Shore, Maryland has lynchings and killings of black people too. Back a few years ago, no more than 8 years ago, a friend of mine, and they were some Africans, and let me just tell y'all, which is why I basically speak with boldness. I was talking to a friend of mine named Alima, who's from Sierra Leone. And she told me that her daughter was going to Ocean City, Maryland, to the beach. And oh, wow. I'm not a negative person, but I'm a realist. So I said to her, sister, why not go to Sandy Point? Why not? Why, why? I started thinking of places to try to, because I knew, I'm going to just say this. Y'all from Africa, y'all are fucking hard headed. Y'all going to really learn as this country becomes more right wing. A lot of Africans and Caribbeans, Afro Latins, y'all going to get your asses beat. The same way this Senegalese family, these white terrorists burnt up a whole family of Senegalese in Colorado. They burnt up 6 people. They barbecued them like marshmallows. And I know these people from Africa, black Americans, they're so dirty, they're nasty, they don't try, they're right. All the stuff you're told, I get it to get the damn green card. But at the end of the day, when you don't have black Americans around, and yes, you bastards ride our ass, you benefit from a struggle you didn't fight for. When you get out there, you're all on your own because the white folks who grin at you and tell you how much they love you and they hate the black Americans.
you
You're a
know,
Nick.
it's funny that you say that too, because as Delaware is also we're one of the leaders in and illegal workers with all of the poultry plants down the southern end of the state. This is a big money state. It just made me think of that too. You know, like how much is funneling through, and how much in terms of illegal profits are being proceeded through the intentional introduction of illegal labor.
Yeah, and the illegals are there. But let me just say this to you.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my friend Alima not to be harmed. Not to be harmed. I didn't want her daughter to be harmed. So I kept trying to think of a nice way to say, and I noticed, how it is with Africans
Mm-hmm.
and Caribbeans, because you know how Black Americans don't know nothing, right? We never know anything.
No.
We just haven't tried, and we're lazy, and it's time for us to just step aside and let all the other people replace us.
Yep.
So I said
No
to
matter
this,
how many credentials, no
no
matter
matter
what,
what it
yeah,
is, you just don't
nothing.
know
Yeah.
anything, right? I understand. I understand. And let me just say to
It's
you,
true. It's really
let me
true.
just say this to y'all. I said to her sister when she didn't get a clue, I said, Zalima, if you love your daughter, please don't let her go to Ocean City. It can be a problem. We don't go to Ocean City. It's not always safe. It's not always a good thing to do. We have real problems in Eastern Shore. And she did what most Africans do to Black Americans. Of course, I'm stupid, I'm paranoid, everything is black and white to me. Okay, so uh, I says, okay, Alima, I will be praying for you and your daughter. And she said her daughter was pregnant. I says, oh my, that's even more reason. Don't I know Sandy Point is packed, but it's better there. There are more of black people there, and of course I know that's just well, we're gonna be okay. We don't think about that. We're moving on, right? Well, and I says, well, sister, I don't want anything to happen. I'll be praying for your sister. Y'all could have a problem. In fact, I believe you will. I don't want your daughter to be hurt. Please tell her to reconsider. She was harsh and she shoved me aside. I'm used to this, Brother B. You go on, you ask someone, hey, brother, sister, this, and they treat you like you're nobody. About
Right.
3 weeks later, she calls me screaming and crying. Her daughter and some other Africans from Sierra Leone had gone to the beach, and the police had beaten them. And in fact, a 350-pound white policeman tackled her daughter in her third trimester and tried to crush the baby inside of her.
Oh my goodness, man.
Are you understanding me? There's video of it, and I can find it. I can find it. Brother B, keep talking. Someone's at my
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
Continue
You.
to talk.
So I was thinking right there. I brought back a memory of when I so standing in my studio. My wife and I we owned a successful studio, wellness studio over in Newcastle County. It was in a shopping center, and you were talking about like the culture and the normal, like kind of like the normal commonplace. Not It's not an American thing. It's different. In Delaware, is again, it's like that old town feel. So anyway, I will be standing in there, and then some a white person would come in and hey, can I speak to the owner? And me, not even a 40-year-old brother, of course, I'm like, that would be me. I literally the reception, the reception that I would get from the Caucasians, is like, I mean, almost like looking over my shoulder to see, like it was almost like a joke of some sort. And that's the feeling again. And that is the reality. They actually, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not making this a totally black white thing. I mean, I'm talking about the energy, the overall energy here in the state. I'm not saying, all white people do this or that here in the state, of course, but that feeling is just like that. And when you were talking about, I know you're out of the screen right now, but when you were talking about you're talking about what happened with in Ocean City. That's a normal occurrence here in Delaware. The news again, like that media blackout thing. The news never gets out. We had a situation in 2002. Um, Reggie Hanna. Reggie Hanna. As a matter of fact, this past summer, a lot of the black people from Dover who would be old enough to remember Reggie Hanna from 2002 were saying that he was the original George Floyd, because what happened with Reggie Hanna was the police they made a Reggie Hanna. First off, he had a I think he had been to jail twice, petty crimes, but he was well liked, educated, really a good brother. And it was a routine traffic stop one night. There was three of them in the car, and they singled him out, of course, like like they always do. And the one police officer literally he started to beat Reggie Hanna. Reggie out the blue. And there's actual police footage and video. There was video of this. So Reggie hit him back and pretty much knocked him out. People saw it. They came over and they literally beat Reggie. They beat Reggie to the point of where he made it to the hospital, and they pronounced him dead at the hospital. And it was
him again?
It was
Who beat him again?
The police, the Dover police, who strangely enough, or oddly enough, that's the same police force that's involved with most of the strange fruit occurrences of the hangings, the lynchings that were covered up as hangings, ruled as suicides. Yeah, the Dover police, they have, matter of fact, so with that strange fruits thing, if you can, I did put it in the chat earlier too, the blog spot where all of the links can be found. I'll put it up in there again. So what happened with that was that the two guys that were that are suspected in doing the hangings down there in Dover, the lynchings, excuse me. They were the one of them was a nephew of a sergeant in the Dover police force. So they were actually drug dealers. They were selling drugs down there in the Dover area. Yeah, and that's stuff that's actually not public. So that's a little bit of tea, I guess. That's something like you were talking about. The stuff, they block everything out. Like they changed police reports. The police captain lied. There was so much police cover up involved with this thing.
The police are super
ridiculous.
corrupt in Delaware. Talk about that. I'm being interrupted by family things, so can you give me at least 6 minutes to just talk about these corrupt ass police, please?
Oh my goodness, yeah. So, man, I mean, all right. So I guess I'll get back to where I was with that. So the police. So there were literally police reports that were changed. Police reports were altered. The police literally coached witnesses. The woman that with the Henry Fordham, I'll concentrate on that one. With the Henry Fordham incident, where Henry Fordham was the one who was actually the brother that was the two white guys the names, excuse me, were John and Mark, I believe were their names. I have to go back in that, but anyway, so Henry Fordham is in the back of these homes. They're actually pretty exclusive homes, right around the Silver Lake Park area. Right, they sit right off of the Silver Lake Park in Dover, Delaware. So the two the two guys who were suspected of doing the other, I believe, I want to say two lynchings prior to this attempted lynching in Dover, that the two that were covered up that we talked about earlier, Johnny Clark and 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 then there was Stefan Powell as well. But so back to this, Henry Fordham is in the back. They're fighting. A woman, she hears Henry fighting for his life. Her husband, they wake up. They both wake up. Her husband runs out the back. Henry, by this time, has climbed over the fence into their yard. The woman, she calls the police. The wife, she calls the police. Police come. Now, I actually have the 911 call, the tape, right? So you can hear Henry still screaming for his life. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. You can hear the truck start up and the truck pull off. You can hear her. She's giving the description of the truck and everything. All of this stuff is in the actual in the police call, in the recording. So you hear all of this. Then you can hear her husband talking to Henry. I mean, it's so clear, right? So basically, somehow, none of the information about the truck, none of the information about the two guys, none of the information that would actually help to actually mount an actual, you know, investigation that would be in any way or shape or form worthwhile is reported. There's literally, like I said, there's things that have been omitted on the police reports, and the chief of police at the time said that they were able. Oh, his reasoning for dismissing it was they were able to poke holes in Henry's story. So as opposed to investigating an attempted lynching, when you've had two lynchings that have just happened within the last couple of years, two lynchings that have been covered up as hangings, right? So you would think, as the chief of police, this is an opportunity now, maybe to crack a major case. This is literally a serial issue at this point. We're talking a serial homicide at this point. Um, so as opposed to actually trying to as opposed to traveling and actually like investigating these facts and these things that happen, they're trying to quote unquote poke holes in the victim's story.
Mm-hmm.
And then not only are they poking, not only do they poke holes in his story, but now Henry actually goes to the attorney general's office. He goes all the way to the attorney general with his attorney at that point in time, and they are literally removed. They are physically removed from the attorney general's office, physically removed from the attorney general's office, and told if they return and they step foot on that property again, then they will be arrested. That
Now,
they are not pursuing anything, and that they're closing the case. Period.
now
This is in the state of Delaware.
in the state of Delaware. Now, I want to tell you, when there was a report that was written, I think the one that you've seen with the person hanging from the tree, the thing that you sent me a couple of months ago, that I helped people to write about lynching in Delaware.
Yes.
That when people took that to the attorney general's office, or they planned to, Joe Biden Jr., the same one whose wife was screwing his brother Hunter, who has sex with children, real
He
talk.
was the attorney general at the time. He was
Right,
the
Joe
attorney general
Biden Jr.,
that
Joseph
removed him
Robinette
from the. Yep.
Biden Jr. made certain to close the Department of Justice in Delaware to prevent us from submitting a report about black people being lynched. He closed the government office early. That's something I know. And I want to say to
Yes.
you that only Republican newspapers or websites have been willing to talk about lynching or police corruption in Delaware. Even the Human Relations Committee that you have in Delaware acknowledges that there's a belief that people are lynched. That isn't seen as conclusive evidence that there's a problem.
No,
The Department of Justice of the United States refuses to investigate. No one will look into this problem. Nobody.
nobody.
And I want to say this, that uh, Eric Holder wouldn't do it. Ugly pineapple face uh, Loretta Lynch wouldn't do it. Nobody has been willing to look. Even with a nigger president, with nigger attorney generals, no one would even look. People know that this happens. People know that it is real. They know that it's going on. And just nobody, no one, no how, nobody in the CBC, no one. This is the reality that we black people face. The folks that you see on TV, Don Lemon won't talk about it. That ugly baboon, Joy Reid, won't talk about it. Rollover Martin won't talk about it. None of them will talk about this. They won't even ask.
They're not allowed to.
No, no, hell.
Well, no, no,
If
no,
you're
no.
allowed to
Excuse
have
me. Not.
sex with kids, you can
Yeah,
do
no,
this.
no, no.
These
That
people
was.
do what they want to do.
Yeah, no. I was thinking further down the chain. Excuse me. That was me caught off in a thought. But no, yeah, no. It's a total like I said about the rally earlier. So we got the largest papers came out. They covered. I mean, I'm talking. They did full on interview. The reporter covered me the whole time. I gave him, the facts. We gave him fact sheets, all the information, background information, research, everything. So that the report and whatever he writes would be, well documented. And when I tell you, Dr. Randy, I didn't even hear back. I'm talking about I had his personal number. He told me to give him a shout. That's how excited he was about this story, and that's why I say this. He was excited about this story. I mean, because we gave him so much truth and so much fact, and he didn't return my call nor my text. I knew at that point where it had come from, and then like you said, right there at that point, also that's where I don't even, it is what it is. I'm gonna say at that point my brother was followed and harassed by unmarked police officers.
Yeah, you said about six or seven cars pulled up on your brother.
6 or 7 cars surrounded his vehicle, all out of uniform people with badges, professing to be law enforcement, yet having no uniforms, no marked identifiable vehicles. They held him. They got him out of his vehicle, held him at gunpoint, asked him some ridiculous questions, told him that and told him something to the effect of he had some people that was some people that were lying on him or something, just something to say, something to bring in other people, something ridiculous. But it was at the height of when we were organizing, and I was also then hit with some things that came out of the courthouse suddenly. As you know, we talked about that. And those are things that were like, it was basically we just started. Oh, and then one of my closer associates, she had police that were stationed outside of her home. The night before our rally, there were strange vehicles and headlights that were sitting parked at the end of my street that I noticed. And when I came to basically kind of express like I saw them in a way, they left. And then like you said, the next day there was my car itself was there was some things done to my car also. So it was a lot of little things that were happening. And when people stand up and step up in this state and just say, and just speak up. All we were doing, this is the thing too. We weren't antagonizing anybody. We weren't calling anybody out. I know that, like, I know that your normal listeners, and viewers are, they know they know that you say what it is, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they know your approach. So I want to say the reason why I say that is that we were being we were being we were being intentionally strategic with our approach in that we were looking to discover and uncover and expose truth as opposed to target someone or go or be anti someone or go against anybody else's campaigns or anything like that. We were just uncovering something that had needed to be uncovered, that was going on for almost the last decade here in this state actively, where black men were being lynched and drowned and said to be committing suicides.
Mm.
That we needed answers, and the community still demands, commands, and deserves answers. And I believe that we will get answers, because at the end of the day, when you continue to rise, you can't just push down the skeletons. You can't push down the things that you have in the closet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, and I'm speaking specifically about Mr. Biden. That
Mm-hmm.
that the black people of Delaware deserve just the respect of at least allowing these things that have happened and transpired within our communities to be addressed and to be called what they actually have been, which is assassination
Mm.
and murder.
Now, I want to speak of something, just housekeeping. On my YouTube page, there are 42 people that are looking, and I have 48 people who like what's being said. But on my stream, there are 130 people, and only two people have liked it. What the hell is that, y'all? Where else are you going to hear this? And I just got 2 likes. Now I've got 52 likes on my YouTube and just 2 on the stream. Y'all want to help us? Like it. What's wrong with pushing the damn like button? Really? I mean, that's going to hurt someone. I mean, thank you. Someone just put up love. Just 3 out of 135 people. Okay, we'll put it more because I don't see it. If I took a picture, I see just 3 likes. And I'm like, what? I mean, and this brother's bringing it. Somehow I'm not able to like it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Well, y'all just need to understand. Do what you can. Now it says 64. Of course, maybe they don't want me to see it. They didn't want me to hear this brother speaking.
that's what's
Okay.
going on. Yeah,
Okay,
no,
yeah,
that's
and so trust me, guys. Joe Biden works for the high tech people, and I just want to say, wait a second. There's somebody from Delaware, and let me see. Did you send me, Miss Palmer, a link for me to bring you in if I was able to? Because I would love. We need to have more people talk about this Delaware thing, and I just want you to hold on one second. Let me make certain I got this. Okay. I just want you, brother, to tell people that I didn't just ask you
mm-hmm.
to do this interview, right? I've been very persistent in getting you to share.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was, and to be honest, I was hesitant because, and you know this about me, that I don't represent or stand for any platform one way or another. So I've always been very, very, very um particular in what I say publicly, because again, it's not that I stand against. I don't stand against one way or another, but I respect this stance, and for that reason, it kind of does end up opposite Biden in this case, right?
Right. I understand. And look, um, I want to make it very clear to people that I could care less about political parties if I don't care if you vote or not, if you're doing what you can do to help out. But let's just do this. The
Mm-hmm.
senators and people that helped beat and have black civil rights workers killed and jailed, all the segregationists that hated black people's guts, all.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden did the eulogy for every white senator that was against black civil rights. He did their funerals for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, this Joe Biden Jr., the one that let the black people be lynched, your Lord and Savior, that chump ass nigga named Obama, he did the eulogy for Bo Biden, or should I say
Oh yeah.
Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., aka Bo Biden. Bo in French meaning beautiful. You understand how strange Joe Biden Sr. is? He names his boy Bo. When you see how these folks mess with children, there's some strange things there. There's some strange stuff in the Biden family. There's something absolutely bizarre.
I saw something earlier in the chat too, referencing I believe it was the DuPonts. And again, we have every we got it's a stronghold in this state, which is again why this is like the blackout state. Like, I mean, man, I know you said it a few times already, but I don't think it could be stressed enough. Like when there's something going on, I mean, there's things that I've intentionally looked for in the at least, like, let's say in the regional news, something horrible. Like, you have to look for, like for instance, there were a couple months ago, there were there were black men that started washing up on the damn beach.
Yeah, black men being found washing up like
Once
starfish.
again, and you never heard about it because they were instantly ruled suicides. Like, we're talking healthy, like nothing wrong. And I'm like, and I'm it's crazy. But the thing is, but I say it to say, like, you won't hear about it. You have to literally you have to look for that. They cover it. They do it so well. It's a machine. Our attorney general now currently, oh my goodness. I mean, back to Jeremy McDowell, and so many, like, we had down in we had another young man, Brandon.
Which beach were they washing up on in Delaware?
The last one, because I don't want to misquote it. There's so many. Hang on. You can go ahead, Dr. Rand, for a sec. I'm gonna make sure that I reference that right.
Right.
And I'm gonna actually put it in the chat too.
And by the way, they do other things. They even, I believe, get black people from Delaware to go in to vote in Philadelphia. That's the kind of corruption in the Democratic Party. Some people in Delaware voted in Philadelphia for Biden against Trump. They bring him over by the buses. Real talk, y'all. We've gone from picking cotton to picking Democrats who hate our guts. Um, yeah, yeah. Cam has a point here that aside from Joe Biden getting a facelift, uh, the DuPonts did manufacture the chemicals for RG5 to make the Zyklon B the gas blacks, Jews, gypsies, Russians, and others with. The DuPont family is deeply involved in the Holocaust. The Delaware Industries, Standard Oil, and others were involved in supporting Hitler and supporting Francisco Franco. There's a strong history of anti democratic, anti black, anti human activity. Standard Oil helped make napalm. The same napalm used to burn Japanese was used to burn Koreans, used to burn blacks in Angola and Mozambique and Guinea Bissau and Rhodesia. Oh, yes. there is a strong relationship to repression and abuse. Joe Biden is a devil. The black Democrats are devils, and the Republicans are devils. We should have our own political interest. It will not come from the boule. It must include reparations and justice, jail time, even execution if necessary, for people who've mistreated us. Um, this is absolutely terrible what happens to our people in Delaware, and they're brutalized in New Jersey, in southern New Jersey. Uh, I was saying about the Ocean City situation where my friend's daughter went to. A 350-pound white police officer dived on top of a pregnant black woman, and you can see him trying to crush the baby inside of her in the video. They threw the woman who was pregnant in a jail cell as she sat in her own amniotic fluids and urine for hours crying for a doctor. They took her to a doctor. The doctor gave her C-section, but deliberately did not give her the necessary medical care to make certain that she didn't die. They had to take her back to the doctor because she had not been given proper medical attention. Yes, they will kill you in the hospital. Yes, they will.
Yeah.
Um,
I have to look.
it doesn't matter, but you know that they're
Yeah,
washing up on the beach. We can do
yeah,
this again.
I'm gonna have to send that. I'm gonna have to send that through the yeah, no, but that's how bad it is. I have the link myself, but I had to go into my personal files. But that's an example right there of how bad it is. Like,
And of course, did you? I just want
I
to
should
tell
be able to
people
find
a few months ago, there was a shipping container at the docks
it.
in
Yeah,
Wilmington, Delaware, or was it Dover? I think it's Wilmington,
yeah, it was Wilmington.
with some 60 young women packed in a storage
Yeah,
container to be shipped abroad. The story was there for a day. The Associated Press found these young women packed in a shipping container to be shipped away from America. They don't know who the shipping container belonged to, and the story disappeared. All of a
there it
sudden, it
is.
became fake news. Anyone that had it, if you even posted on Facebook, it was taken down. You were not allowed to share the information.
Yep.
I want to share with you when they pick up, if in fact there's going to be mass arrest of people who betrayed this country by President second term Donald Trump, human trafficking, there's no way that Hunter Biden can be with these little girls and him not be connected to human traffickers. The Ukraine is the number one place for human trafficking in Europe, and that's where the Bidens hang out. As I speak to you, the ones who voted for this wicked man, he's being prosecuted for high crimes in the Ukraine. Whether the American media picks it up or not, Joe Biden is a criminal of the lowest order. He's a human rights criminal against black Americans. And for all of you that support him, all of you that voted for him, you idiots, Joe Biden's been the main voice crying out for black people to be vaccinated. In Norway today, go Google it. 13 people have died from the vaccinations in one day.
Mm.
13. There are thousands of people who've been sickened and impaired by the vaccinations. Joe Biden, if you noticed, is saying he's going to give out $2,000 checks, but they're pushing for the vaccinations. They're probably going to peg the stimulus checks to being vaccinated.
Oh wow.
Go
that
ahead. Y'all
angle.
want that bastard. You don't care who he rapes. You don't care who he lets lynch. Selfish black people, everything is how you feel. Your asses are going to get busted by reality. I can't wait. I hope by my lucky stars the things I'm hearing from these right wing people is true. That they're going to arrest a whole lot of people who tampered with the elections. I can't wait. I need to go out and buy some popcorn so I can just laugh, laugh, laugh. Because nobody that was honest, nobody that was telling the truth about Kamala or Biden got the kind of love in the black community.
Yeah.
Jewish people that warn Jews become celebrated.
Well, that's the thing, though, right?
Black
Like,
people
it's
that
if we
warn
go
black folks
whenever
are the
whenever
enemy.
we go against tradition.
No, it's not a tradition. We're talking about going against genocide. You tell
No,
the
no,
truth.
I'm saying whatever we view and hold in our minds as tradition. Like it's so hard for us to see outside of what we do as a, as a people, as a culture. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so like it's hard. It's so difficult for us to create space between us and our habits. And I mean, when we look and we talk about something, and it's like you can't hold the attention span of, I say, Black America, like, for long enough. It's like we
Yeah,
get
well,
upset at something,
yeah, yeah.
and then it burns out, and that's it. And it's like,
It's
okay,
because
they go back to,
it's
they go back to accepting whatever it is that we want to give them.
because it's not principle. Black people are not into ethics. We're not into principles. We're into feelings,
Yeah.
emotions,
And then when you
and
say when we say that, it's like we're hating on our own,
well,
and it's like,
I
no,
hate it. I hate stupidity. I hate emotionalism. I am hating on it. It should be hated. The more of us that hate it, it'll change. When the people say don't hate
right,
on this, saying
right,
don't expect me to be better. Don't demand more of me. Let me slum. Let me be a fuck up. This is what too many of our people ask for. No, get out. Be unhappy. Be miserable. Drop dead. Have a heart attack. Suicide. Get out of our way. We're never going to get free. We're never going to break out carrying this amount of sludge, waste, and BS.
yeah, no,
Times
you're
must
right.
change. Times must change. When white folk want stuff, they'll kick in the Capitol door and take it. We're not asking for people to be militant. We're asking people, you know what, think about it. We're asking people to just think. Would you consider? Would you look? Would you
Yeah,
read?
just consider it.
Okay, no,
That's it.
no, no, no. Because you know what?
Yeah,
Because ignorance and emotionalism and stupidity is the highest value. And yes, I'm going to put this right here. Our people think in an unbalanced way, it's overly feminized. And I hate to say it, most simp men are feminine. So you don't get much masculinity from black men because they simps. You say something about Kamala, man, I ain't gonna get some pussy if you keep talking about her. I don't care who she locked up. I
right.
won't get some. I won't get some. No, man, please. Don't y'all come here and talk about this, right? We gonna just talk about sports and some movies, and man, our people,
No, you're right though. You're
black
right.
men are the biggest bitches of all. Bitches with dicks are black men. And I'll never understand a black man who calls himself a player. He's got a trillion women to sleep with every night of the week. And yet he seems to be in mortal fear that the world's going to run out of pussy. I mean, look, a tire will wear out and so will your dick. That's why we're buying Viagra and Cialis and horny goat supplements and all this stuff. Your dick ain't gonna last forever, but you know what? Your bullshit and lies do because our denial is killing us.
Killing us, literally killing us. Yeah, literally. Yeah, like that, and that's the thing. Like, literally, when you talk about, I mean, I couldn't believe it with the I when with such things as, like, just public record. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm, like, when
Mm-hmm.
we just deny
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
deny deny the whole act of investigating. like in the whole process of research when it's
It's
available.
not hard, yes, but you know what the Bible says? My people perish for a lack of knowledge. We're being destroyed because we're ignorant. The people are taking this shot and all this stuff, and they'll pay for it. I've come to
Right.
accept people will die. My mother had a goddaughter less than a year ago. First time she came by the house bringing stuff, and I mentioned to her sister, hydroxychloroquine, if you need some, it'll help. And she blew me off. Strong black woman, that type. That's true.
Mhm.
Pushy and big, just, she's got everything in control. Okay. She came by again. I brought up again and said, Sister, are you taking. Right? And
Mhm.
yes, black women, some of y'all are just annoying assholes. They never want to hear anything a black man has to say. Third time I mentioned it, she says, nah, I ain't. So I told my mother, well, that ends like it ends. My mother looked at me and says,
Mhm.
well, Mom, you lose her. Okay. I did what I can't force. I can only care enough to mention. Would you? Okay. And I got blown off. Well, she's dead. She's gone, y'all. Gone. Gone. 62 years old. Gone. Absolutely didn't have to go. Absolutely could have made a difference. I have a friend right now in a hospital in Chicago. COVID. 60 years old. I recall months ago pleading, brother, my friend, I need you. We work together, right? You know the ones in Chicago, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's in the hospital. I says, brother,
Oh.
hey man, I'm not trying to run your life. I'm not trying to lower your sperm count or take your woman away, but you're out. You, I can help you out. I know doctors. I mean, doctors risking their careers and their lives to get this medicine out. And do you know, last week I said, brother, are you taking this? Are you using, please, brother, please, could you?
Mhm.
Right? He's been out of
Mhm.
rallies. Well, I think he started, then he had to go to the hospital. He's been in the hospital 5 days.
Oh man.
He's on oxygen. Good friend. Love this brother. I'm not, you hear me? I'm not out trying to like knock anybody down. I didn't want to see him get
Right.
sick. I had
Right.
another friend. Begged him, please, let me get something. Let me help you. Can I just? And I'm like, I got it. This is shove you aside, right?
Mhm.
Get a call from my auntie, the one I want you to meet, the one I told you about, Kim, Aunt Kim,
Mhm.
used to sing with Marvin Gaye. She
Mhm.
claims my mother looks like Marvin Gaye's mother. I think Alberta Gaye. Anyway, that's what she said. My mother looks just like her, acts like her. She says. Anyway,
Mhm.
tell you what. She calls me and tells me, speak to your friend. I call my friend, and you can hear the death in his voice. And I'm like,
Mhm.
damn you. Did I or did I not beg you for months to get something
Right.
so this wouldn't happen to you? You're outspoken. You're a target. Don't you think even if they can spray it, they'd spray your ass? So I
Right.
said to him, look,
Yeah.
let me share something with you.
Yeah. Knowledge.
Okay, now
Yeah.
here's what I'm gonna say
Yeah.
to you. I said to him,
Just.
I had an associate from Gary, Indiana, call me,
Mm.
and I told him because he said to me, what's his name? The guy from Godfather's Pizza. You know who I'm talking about, the one that died, Herman Cain. I told him, dude, if you don't get Herman Cain some medicine, some hydroxy, in the next 3, 4 days, he's dead in 2 weeks. I pray to God you get it to him. I hope you can get to him, or else it's gonna be too late. I told him I'm sorry. God help you. God, I want you to um, get it to him, please. 3 days later, when he didn't reach Herman, I said, "Man, brother, I'm praying. I'm so sorry." Herman Cain was dead 2 weeks later. And I had to relay this to my friend who's in the hospital. Brother, Herman Cain died yesterday. I tried. I couldn't do any better than what I could do. For you, I can help. Do you want to live, or do you want to show me that you're a boomer, and that but I don't think you have many choices. In fact, let's not discuss this. Give me your son's number. I called his son, said to his son, hey, look, brother, you don't know me. I'm no one for you to respect or to acknowledge or any of that. I get it. However, I would like 10 minutes to make an appeal for your father's life. You can reject me. After all, I'm just a voice on the telephone. I have no right to your father's private medical history. All of this is true. However, your grandfather and my grandfather were friends. My father's friends to all your uncles. I went to school with your other brothers. I live 1 block away from the house that your family lived in. We've known each other for 80 years. I don't want you to believe or listen to me. I want you to treat me like a stupid person, but may I get a medical doctor to explain to you how we can save your father's life? Is that too much to ask you? And if you're offended by me reaching out to you, I'll hang up, and I've done everything I could do to help your father. Tell me what you want me to do. He gave me the 10 minutes. His father is alive and well now. They did what we
Nice.
told them to do. Are you understanding me? But
Yeah.
I've had other people tell me, fuck you, nigga. And it's like, I get it. I've seen people die. And I'm no genius. But I want you to understand this. I want you to understand this. Our people don't have to die. A lot of this death is a choice. A lot of this death is a choice.
It's kind of been that
A lot
pattern.
of suffering. I miss
That's,
this brother, the one
that's
I
a
did the
common
tribute
pattern.
to Patrick. Patrick, can I talk to you? Brother, reach out to me. Can we pray for you? Is there anything that is? And at a certain point, I says, brother, don't take any psychotropic drugs. Talk to me. They'll set you up. Blah blah blah. Uh, wow. He shot
Man.
himself in the head. I would have loved to have done something for something to have gone differently. I'm not gonna get anything out of it, but they had 4 children. 4 children. Uh, do you see what I'm saying? Black people in a very low moral ethical state. That when you can reach out to someone again to for their own life, not for me to
Yeah.
get money, not for me to get a girlfriend, not for me to get a house, a car, a lottery
Right.
ticket, a drink of beer, a toke of weed, just to help another person. And our people are unreceptive to compassion or empathy. They take it as it's sort of like, you know, dog do on in the garden box on the sidewalk, right? It's just something. It's there. It's not. We become very, very inhumane and antisocial as a community.
Yeah. I mean, do we think that it's like we have it out for each other, right? Like because largely, like if you look at what's been placed in Black communities as leadership, and even the even when we look at the culture, as we say, from an entertainment standpoint, they always put in a political standpoint, right? They always put in front of us people that we can never depend on. So we're used to being abused. Like
Actually,
so,
abuse is a choice. Honestly,
absolutely. Oh
in
yeah,
some
I'm no.
instances,
Now I'm
ab-
agreeing with you.
abuse is a choice for
Yeah,
many of our people. And someone says conditioning, but I'll say something to you, brother Cam.
absolutely conditioning.
But no, I'm going to say no to that because, and yes, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go religion. Why the hell did tens of thousands of black people run away from slavery in the 1840s and 50s with no literacy, no maps, no GPS, no books, no education, nothing, wanted more than being a slave when slavery's all anybody knew? What's different between black people then and now? And one thing I'll tell you, one thing that's different is those people were enslaved and we are slaves. There's a difference when someone makes you be a slave,
Like that.
and
I
it's a
like that.
different thing when you've accepted and you're good with it. What I would say to you, and I will keep saying it, and I don't care who doesn't like me, the black people that were living 150 and 160 years ago had an encounter with the Most High, and it gave them supernatural wisdom and power beyond their education or anything that enabled them to want more, to want better, even if they'd never seen it, never heard of it. Our people now are unplugged from the Most High, don't want it, will
Sir.
use the excuse of a crooked ass person that's peddling the wrong stuff to justify dismissing what's true. Okay? It's like a person saying, well, I don't like good hamburgers because McDonald's has fake hamburgers. So if someone has fake hamburger meat, all hamburgers are fake. In reality, like the book I was reading from last night called After the Ball, uh, it's a $1,200 book if you can get your hands on it. And the gay man, what's his name, Marshall Kirk and Hunter Madsen, was saying that the gay community is completely without morality. And it's necessary for gays to move forward to have some semblance of morality. Black Americans have lost their morals. They've thrown it in the toilet. They've lit it as a blunt and K2 to smoke it. We're trying to go somewhere without a moral compass. You need a GPS, you need a map, you need to know where you're going to get there. If we're now gender fluid, anything crazy that Khazarian Satanists come up with, we roll with it without asking a question. It's interesting. I
Yeah.
can make an appeal for people to at least take a second look at what did Harriet Tubman or Frederick Douglass or Nat Turner believe, and I can have Negroes tell me, fuck you. Yet I can come up and talk to them about gods from Africa that they've never heard of, and they'll take everything hook, line, and sinker. Now, wait a minute. If the gods from Africa were so wonderful, how the hell are we in the mess we're in now? If the gods in Africa are so wonderful, why can't we throw the people out of Africa that are invading? These gods have failed. They are failures. And the only thing I can point to that in any way has any trappings of success or resistance has been the BIBLE. And I don't care who doesn't like it. Show me a counter offer. I never get it. Uh, is TD fakes fake? Sure he is. Is Reverend Ike fake? Sure he is. But the faker shouldn't discount the genuine. How come Nat Turner doesn't count? How come Denmark Vesey doesn't count? How come the people that did it right don't get consideration and yet people who are always wrong do? There is a moral, ethical collapse in our community. And by the way, SAB, many of y'all haven't heard of SAB. It stands for South African Brewing Corporation. These were the people who kept all the black African miners drunk and high and addicted. So they would get all their money, the little wages that they earned, digging gold, thousands of feet underground, even the little money that they had ended up going. to the very white people that didn't pay them properly. South African Brewing Corporation is owned by Miller Beer, the people that make High Life that black men here drink. The South Africans were ruled by having all the men be either addicted to alcohol or they got raped and fagged out in the mining hostels. Yes, they did. They had institutionalized homosexuality in South Africa. They still have it, where you lock the men up for 11 months at a time from women. You had it in Cuba, you had it in Mozambique, you had it in Angola, you had it in the Dominican Republic, you had institutionalized depravity as a means to break down. They had it in Kenya and they had it in Zimbabwe. These people rule us through Luciferian immorality. With all due respect, if you don't have a counter against Lucifer, then you don't really have the means to fight. And right now, I see a lot of our folks who are into Lucifer. Where you have Lucifer, you have abortion, you have LGBTQ, you have drugs, you have confusion, you have family breakup. And this is where we've run. And so we are suffering from the dual yoke of white supremacy and elective Luciferian immorality. And both of them are too much and it's breaking our back. And you can't get rid of the yoke of white supremacy without getting rid of Luciferianism. And our people are trying to have it both ways, and you have no way at all. That's real talk. And some of the main purveyors of Luciferianism now in our community happen to be in the churches, they happen to be in other religions. They're never pointing our people. In fact, even the Nation of Islam, you can't come too hard against LGBTQ anymore, even in the Nation of Islam. I'm not saying anything about anybody in it. I'm just telling you, this is how things are. What is upright
Yeah,
and
it's true.
righteous no longer counts in our community. I mean, wet ass pussy. I mean, really, even back in the day with raunchy blues, you didn't put it out where the kids would know.
Right.
Even music from the whorehouses back in the day didn't make music so openly nasty as we do now. How is Lil Wayne? He doesn't even look good in his face. How does he get to be a star looking as ugly? At least Sam Cooke singing Darling You Send Me. He looks good. Even if he's representing sex and sensuality, Sam Cooke looks smooth. What does Lil Wayne look like? He looks like an AIDS virus. I mean, he looks awful. These people don't even look good anymore. We've become so debased until ugliness and filth and women uglied up, men uglied up, and that's okay. No disrespect. The Temptations were on drugs, but they look good, right? I mean, Whitney Houston was on drugs, but at a certain point, she looked good. We're not even about the appearance of a false face. We're not even hypocrites of living a filthy life but having an external appearance of attractiveness. You don't even have to do that anymore in the black community. It used to be when you see an award show or a TV show or any of that, and you looked at any black entertainer, they had they looked attractive. They would dress well. They presented themselves well. Now, we have none of this. Even the secular people looked like something. And it's just steadily become more degenerate and nasty, and the more trashy and sleazy we are, the more the illegals and everybody else has persecuted us. Even because we have no morality, we accept a fraud like Al Sharpton as a leader. Jesse Jackass, a leader.
Yeah.
50 piece Chick-fil-A Golden Corral Stacey Abrams, a leader. Andrew Gillum, screwing white porn kings, a leader. Barack Obama, in and out of bathhouses in Chicago, a leader. Maxine Waters, corrupt, a leader. Queer, Al Green from Texas, yes, I called him that, a leader. I mean, wow. I'm not asking people to all be saints, but do they have to be total devils? We can't get a little bit of Adam Clayton Powell was a hoe, but Adam Clayton Powell at least looked like a preacher some of the time. Martin Luther King was a hoe, but he looked and sounded like a preacher at least half the time when his clothes were on. We're talking about people who never look like they're right, who are
So
never
Dr.
on the
Randy,
right square.
let
Everything
me
is wrong and torn up
throw
in
one in
our
there for you.
community. It's unacceptable the state that we're in. I'm talking about punk ass preachers like, what's his name? T.D. Jakes and others who can't take a stand and say, look, gayness isn't right. I have gay members in my church. We pray with them. These people can't even, I mean, you're getting tens of millions of dollars off the damn Bible, but you won't back it. That's like me having a racehorse, but I won't bet on it. Then what the hell purpose would you have the horse for? To deceive other people, for them to put their bet money on a horse that wouldn't work? This is the kind of stuff I see. I see black folks speaking up, going after Trump, but they can't attack. Maxine Waters can go after Trump, but she can't go after the Los Angeles public housing thing that puts black people on the streets. She can go after Trump and his corrupt friends over banking, but can't say anything about predatory lending to blacks in Los Angeles. Why can't these people do stuff? I'm not talking about big stuff, little stuff. Ask a question because they don't care. And what they know that a lot of you don't like what I'm saying is that they know that as long as our people, and that's why they've legalized all this sex stuff and marijuana, and they're working on cocaine and heroin. If you're drugged out, based out, sexed out, and depraved, you can be wiped out quietly and you'd never even notice it. I'm just saying to you, we're being exterminated because of our immorality. And I don't see, for all you conscious community people, when there's a fight against pedophilia, there's been virtual silence for most of the conscious community people. Irritated Genie, the exception. You don't hear this stuff happening, human trafficking, all these things happening. Human trafficking is basically slavery. Black slavery is back. Black women disproportionately targeted. By the way, none of the goddamn black feminists, womanists, they're assholes too, are doing anything to save black women and girls. Black women's wombs are being hacked out of them and put in white men, and it's silence. What Nothing short of a genocide, and when it gets to genocide it's already too late. In fact, it's already genocide. Nothing makes our people reach a point where we won't take it anymore. And I'll tell you, human trafficking is accepted. Black slavery is accepted. One of the reasons black slavery is accepted, and I'm going to just go here, is because sorry ass black men are simps and they like strip clubs. They like sex. Adult entertainment is really the sexual enslavement of women and girls for weak ass degenerate men. And by the way, that's not straight because the same places that have the strippers now have drag queens, and the brothers like that too. These guys will put their penis in any hole. They would put in a beehive if they could put some lubrication on themselves. The black man who worships his penis, he's nothing but a Baal worship. He's a neo-pagan sleaze. And by the way, Donald Trump, I agree, Bernard King. Donald Trump, as trampy as he is, has said no to some of the sleaziness. If you start looking at the main opposition to Donald Trump, it's coming from black, white, and Latino deviants. I know Tariq talks on pedophilia, but I'm talking about the stripper clubs. And I'm not attacking Tariq. I sent him a message today. And all of us have a background. And maybe it would come across as hypocritical for certain people, like Killer Mike, who loves strip clubs. How can he be a leader if he celebrates the sexual enslavement of young black women and girls, and often vulnerable men and confused and abused ex foster care, aged out, sexed out, tricked out black men? A lot of black men have been pimps, and I don't know why we honor men who would sexually exploit women. And I don't know why we excuse female pimps called madams who sexually exploit women and boys.
Dr. Rand, I don't think it's that that is. I think it's what you said. It's a lack of consciousness,
No,
right?
no,
Like
I think people are very conscious. As long as
it's
it's
a
not me on the pole, it's good. Black folks have reached a point where we don't believe. In fact, let me just say this: the whole Christian experiment in America has been a failure because white people have never practiced a Christianity that's based on the second commandment to love neighbor as self. And a corollary to that is that black people don't have a second commandment in their Protestant religion of loving neighbor as self. Basically, Negroes are down with Darwin, every nigger for himself. And when we're hated by everybody, and they're organized and mobilized around white privilege and so forth. Every nigger for himself is a recipe for us dying individually, slowly, being cut with a million cuts, and we're dying. It's absolutely you cannot tell me that this stuff has to be like this.
no. It doesn't. I don't think it has to be like this. I think that when you refer to when we bring we got to tie in the spiritual nature of everything. I
Mm-hmm.
think it is
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I find the thing that helps me to find some form of comfort is knowing that the Most High
Mm-hmm. Well,
did
we need the Most
prophesy
High.
that this earth would go this way.
It would go this way, but everyone doesn't have to go. You know, when people ask me questions in the chat room, I'll just say to you, I really don't on this platform devote a lot of time to criticizing other black people. I actually at least have I would consider a decent rapport with Tariq Nasheed. He's always been legit. I don't do this to anyone. I don't attack Jeannie. I don't attack anybody. I have made a comment about Moise Watkins because Moise Watkins supports gay adoption. I have real problems because they're white men and others who are raising black kids to screw them. If he doesn't see that, they have no business doing any advocacy around that. Okay, I'm just saying that. And by the way, when y'all lose your money on the stock market, because the stock market is crashing, he'll have his hands full with people that don't like him. I don't need to bother anyone. So I don't make my platform about criticizing black people that are out there doing stuff, except for when they're positions of leadership or when they're clearly hypocritical. Bless you, Brother Nay Willis. I'm going to use that on my. I don't spend my time attacking. So I don't trash, what's her name? Vicky Dillard. Or I don't attack anyone black trying to do something. If you're trying to do good, you'll never hear me talk. That's why I don't bring it up. And it's not that I'm obsessed with myself. A lot of black folks like drama and conflict. I don't get
Well, I
up and
think I'm a testament to that, right? I mean, I'm a living testament to that. You know, I mean, locally, I'm a striving young black man here, and I mean, you know, you've been nothing but supportive to as far as
yeah,
I've
if I can help you, I
I've
do.
seen. Yeah,
It,
you
it,
do.
and
Yeah,
and
no, I
I
think
did
it's just
this.
you're just speaking to, and that and see that's the thing right there, right? Like that our is there's no way to get better without an honest critique. You know what I mean? Like, and we take honest critique as like bashing and hating, when it's like our state has really gotten to a very, very toxic one.
Right.
Like we are literally, we're self-destructive
It's something
as a
has to
community. Like, we
something
can't.
has to
I'm
give.
from, like you said, I'm from Philadelphia, so I can speak on it. Now, I've been on all different sides of things, right? In terms of the upward struggle. So now in Philadelphia, we can't even get the young people to stop killing each other.
Right, and
Like,
it's and
we
the
can't even get them to put the guns down for a second to have a conversation.
but it's
They won't even,
interesting.
they won't listen to the older black people.
They won't listen. But let's go
They
better.
don't listen.
You can
Like,
never get them to shoot at the policeman that killed them, but they can kill someone black
exactly, because
who doesn't even
they're
want to fight
asleep.
them. We've got, in fact, the point is that you can't even take an aim at someone attacking you, but you can kill someone that doesn't even want to fight you. It's because of the cowardly nature in our community, and we worship white people. We don't worship the Most High. We worship drugs and pleasure and all this. This is where we are right now. I've been asked a question about the Moorish Science Temple. What I will say to you is, if you look up the Moorish Science Temple, the one thing that I find most interesting is the Rockefellers, who brought us the University of Chicago and mind control and social engineering and so forth. Rosenwald, whoever it is, the people who helped the Moorish Science people get their building and so forth. Um, how can people who are against black people, why would they give money to you if they didn't see you as useful to what they want to get done? That's one. Number two, um, I'm not a Moor. Um, and this whole thing about wearing the hats and all this other kind of stuff, it's surface. I see the Moors all over the place. The Moors are all over Baltimore. Show me, show me where the Moors have some sort of functioning community, hospitals, schools, farms, at least the Nation of Islam. Maybe they didn't even succeed, but they did try at some point. They had bakeries. I see a lot of these things, and I just call them what they do. They're called cults. Cults, 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 cults. And personality cults, religious cults, they're cults. You choose your cults. Lots of black folks, I understand, they're cults. But I would always say to all the Moors in particular, when Miss Corin Gaines, a young woman, was shot to death in her house by the police outside of Baltimore, and she was with the Moors, and she had paid her money, and she was a sovereign citizen, and she did everything the Moors told her to do. When she was murdered and her child shot, I haven't seen the Moors go to bat for this brave young black woman. After they've paid their money and they wear the hat with the fun little circus monkey hat, and they do all the stuff that these people say you have to do, and they talk all the talk. I've seen a lot of black folks want to pretend that they've got power and influence that they do not have. Um, so to me, and Morocco still has slavery. Morocco, the Haratine, the black, darker ones are oppressed. I've never heard or seen any of the Moors speak out against the enslavement of blacks in Mauritania and in Morocco. I don't. They're silent. So they're telling me, in fact, the people that run Morocco are not pro-black. The people in Morocco just were given the Southwest Sahara. So the black Moroccans who've been getting killed since I was a kid have been pushed further under. Where are these folks? Those are your Moors. Why don't you help them? And I would just tell you what my cousin shared with me when people are just pressing us to join this Moor thing and we got to do this and do all that. When you say you're a Moor, from what he was explaining, you have to say that you are not black. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but what was explained to me is part of this whole Moor thing is a way to differentiate yourself
Absolutely, that
from
is what it is.
from the people that you come from. Here's my
Absolutely.
rule. If you deny who you are If joining something that includes Islam, yes, I'm going to say that when you Muslim first and you're not black, and the police will crack your skull just as fast as they will a Christian because you're black, or whatever. Be one of all these damn names. It breaks down to folks who have some connection to people who were enslaved or conquered as black Indians here. Anything that doesn't own your ancestors is negative, counterproductive, toxic, deadly. I don't care whether it comes from Asia. I don't care if it's got a crescent or a cross on it, if it's being a Catholic or an Episcopalian, or if it's a Church of Scientology. If it does not embrace those from which you came from, it is an enemy. I don't care what comfort it gives you in your denial, what escape from reality, or this sense of black folks who want to be better than others. This is why niggas are into kings and queens. I couldn't care a damn if I ever meet another king or queen. Kings and queens sold our asses here. Kings and queens that were Native Americans betrayed their people. And the Boule, they consider themselves the kings and queens of black society. How is that working out for us? If
another level of oppression,
yes,
a more suffocating layer of
absolutely.
oppression.
In fact, the nigger preachers see themselves as a ecclesiastical group of rulers over black people. The Bible refers to such people as Nicolaitans. Anything that does not liberate, free, and acknowledge who you actually are before the Most High is negative and counterproductive. So, the Moors, if I'm not right, I don't know how Noble Jew Ali was he killed by a rival, the same way that the head of the nation or whatever, all these kinds of things that have happened. When I look at these black cults, Yahweh ben Yahweh and all the others, there's usually death, destruction, mayhem, pain. The one thing they all have in common is they don't like, they have a great rejection of the spiritual strivings of people like Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Nat Turner, Denmark VC, Boxley, the black folks who encountered the Most High and used that connection to the Most High to struggle against the enslavement of their people. They reject the moral foundations of the people who allowed us to be here today through their struggle. And they've got another take on what all this spirituality is. But what, we're going on 100 years or more of these black cults. I don't see much. I don't see their strong organization against pedophilia, LGBTQ, feminism, gentrification. I do see that you got to join their group, kiss their ass, dance their tune, just say every day, and be their slaves. In fact, these cults all are another form of slavery. And any church where the focus is more on the man and his big fat wife with the big hat in the front versus knowing the Most High and the freedom of your soul, mind, and body and your empowerment in this life and the life to come, it is slavery. Our people need to stop going from one plantation to the other and connect with the Most High through whom you will get the freedom. And even if there are chains on you, but your mind and soul are free, you will ultimately get the freedom that you're seeking. Proof of that is where many of our ancestors came from. I'm completely disappointed by the black cult groups. It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I'm tired of our people being defrauded. I'm fascinated by how rich some of these black religious groups are and how poor their members are. How folks have to sell things and do stuff and wear uniforms and travel and do all this stuff for a handful of Negroes to be kings and queens who aren't there for them. And a lot of them cover up. When members of some of these black groups get killed or beaten by the police, I will give one example. What, the former head of the Nation of Islam for the state of Mississippi, who was married to the president of the NAACP of Mississippi, when their son was murdered by the cops, lynched, there was no help. There was no help from, I'm sorry, Minister Farrakhan didn't help. They didn't help. The Nation of Islam was not there for them when their son was lynched. This wasn't a nobody in the Nation of Islam. This was head of the Nation of Islam for the state of Mississippi. His son lynched, and the nation didn't stand with him. That's the strong nation. Those are folks who'll come break my jaw over me saying something, beat me senseless. They got all this fight and anger for an individual black person, but when the son of the head of the Nation of Islam is lynched in Mississippi, did they help? What I want to say to you, my dear friends, is that I ended up doing what I could do. And if you ever run into them, if the father and mother's still alive, they'll remember me as one of the few people that tried to help them. And I asked, you're in the nation. Surely the minister, they can help them. Backs were turned on them. I don't know why. I don't say that happens in every case, but do people get killed in these black groups, these black religious groups that are so strong and so militant, and they put all of these pronouncements out to the black community? When some of them get killed, does that whole organization do like it used to do when Malcolm X was alive, who got in trouble when the Los Angeles Police Department shot up the mosque in Los Angeles? Malcolm X got in trouble with Elijah Muhammad. He got in trouble for going to court against the police who had murdered, shot through the penis, beat, and destroyed property that belonged to the Nation of Islam. This is real talk, and this is my, I tell everybody, my grandmother's people, part of them come from Sandersville, Georgia. My grandmother's people, among the different families, are the Kelseys and the Wilchers and the Pools. Elijah Poole, who becomes Elijah Muhammad. If he's divine up in a spaceship, then I'm divine too, because we have a common ancestor. Then I'm God too. All right? If that's offensive to some in the Nation of Islam, so be it. Did I say that Elijah Muhammad didn't do any good? I would never say that. Did he help reform people? Yes, he did. Did people have bakeries and had laundries and other stuff? Yes. But I'm also saying that Elijah Poole was opposed to, even another instance where the police tried to murder someone in the Nation of Islam, and Elijah Muhammad had to compel Elijah Muhammad, who was living like a king, to spend money to fight against the New York Police Department for police brutality against a member of the Nation of Islam. He had to beg for it. These are these radical people with power at the Most High with spaceships. You mean an open and shut case of the police trying to murder one of your followers, and you have to be begged? It's just like coon preachers who have millions of dollars that live like kings, and when members of their church get killed or evicted or brutalized, they don't do anything. They'll tell you they'll pray for you. That's what I'll say to you about these groups. And I feel the same about a no good, fake ass black preacher who's not concerned about the welfare and the well being of his people. By the way, Darren Hanshaw, I just ordered a copy of The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual. I couldn't find my other copies. I love Brother Darren Muhammad. And when I talk to Brother Darren Muhammad, we're honest. He knows he called and asked me about a black preacher. If they ain't no damn good, I'm going to let him have it. I resent people who won't do what the Bible says, being in the same religion as me. It's like being on a football team with folks who never come to practice and always make you lose. I would like for all the fake Christians to quit. Be Buddhists, be Hindus, be Hare Krishnas. Leave us alone. Quit. I would love to meet more people like you, Brother B, that are serious. We can get stuff done. I don't want fake ones. I agree with all you cultist, conscious community people in one thing. I don't like phony Christians. However, I adore the righteous, legitimate ones who you conscious community people don't like. You hate the genuine believers because you hate the Most High. Because if we could agree to be against the rotten believers, but support the righteous ones, we'd have some point of convergence. Y'all don't like the righteous ones because I'll tell you, a whole lot of folks get into these cults and other things so they can do exotic sorts of sex and other things, and it's a way to counter the Bible, real talk. And no, I don't hate anybody having their own religion. My only point is all religions ain't cool. And there's only one, since you're asking me as a stupid Christian, there's only one name under heaven by which people can get saved. That's Yeshua, aka JC Jesus. And for all of you who don't know, I just bought my copies. These came in. Thank you for the donations. This is written by Houston Stewart Chamberlain, a LGBTQ racist Darwinian who came up with the concept of the Aryan Jesus. A whole lot of you have an issue with the fakeness within the racist Aryan white Christian tradition. I agree with you. But that doesn't mean for me, who's not in an Aryan Christian tradition, that I've got to reject the Messiah because you don't like the impostor. Okay, we can agree that we don't like the imposter, but what about the real thing? What about the one born of a virgin, a judge under Pontius Pilate, crucified, buried, and ascended into heaven, the right hand of God the Father? That's real. Harriet Tubman believed it. Medgar Evers believed it. Marcus Garvey believed it. Nat Turner believed it. And practically every foundational father of the FBA, B1, ADOS people thought just like what I just said. And we were making progress as a people as long as we practiced and believed that. And when we turned our backs on it, we've gone to shit.
Sure.
And I want to go further to say to you, someone said, hold on, look at this. I don't know Sonetta. I'm not mad at Sonetta, but I will tell you this. People that know of me have begged Sonetta for 6 years to interview me. I mean, I have people come and say, we've been begging. I don't know. There are people who want to hear me, whatever that's about. These folks will never interview me, and I don't care. I want to say to you that Kwanzaa and what's this devil's name who created it? Karanga. These people are popo, snitches, FBI, subversives. And all of this cultism and Africa stuff, this African religions and all, has been promoted by the people that wanted to destroy a cultural, how can I describe it? There was a cultural unity that black people had. They came and introduced all these religions, and they do the same thing in Brazil. The government promotes the African religions and the other stuff to break them up and to make black people be in little factions, little personality cults. The cults are funded by white supremacists. I'm not attacking the Nation of Islam, but it's real talk that Elijah Muhammad got money from some of the most racist white people in the country. Even Malcolm X talked about Bunker Hunt, a total white supremacist, was funding the Nation of Islam. Why do they fund these groups? And how come they don't give it to churches? I mean, genuine churches. Because Dick Gregory, the late Dick Gregory, told us that there was a movement to destroy the back of genuine Christianity among black Americans by the British and even the People's Temple. Jim Jones was a CIA joint to infiltrate and use the black church to commit mass murder. And it happened. And no one talks about it. They've attacked it. Why do they burn churches and shoot ministers? The good ones, not the bad ones. They understand the source of our power. We may not like our power. These people who are popo, genuine people who do what they're supposed to do, don't get don't get don't get the help. I'll give an example. I have associates that have a charity that works in Africa called AHEAD. It's Adventure, Healthcare, Education, and Development. AHEAD. They've been out here 30 years. They've never gotten grants from the State Department to do work in Africa because they're not spies and snitches. People who actually do the work to lift up black people in an independent fashion, they will not be given the grants or the support. They will not get it. This money and resource goes to black people who are their agents. Now, let me see. We're going up on 3 hours. I want to break here because I need to do something here in the house. There are 161, there are almost 200 of us together. I want to do another Angry Black Men's Book Club, and I got my books, y'all. I got my books on feminism and eugenics and all this such. And I'm sorry it got so cold here last night. It made me fall asleep. And I apologize because I really do like sharing with y'all. I'm supposed to be a teacher or a preacher. And right now, our institutions are so corrupt, people like myself aren't welcome. Can women join? Actually, can committed black women that don't hate black men, black women that are for black men, y'all are supposed to join. When I say black people, I'm not just talking about black men. It's the feminists that demand that you say black men and black women. If I say blacks, I say, what about women? What about women? As if I would kick women out. So
that is true.
I never think of excluding black women, but I don't want pork chop feminists. If you're a black woman that wants to swirl and you hate black men, please don't come. We don't want you. And yes, I say things that I know will offend the pork chop feminists because I'm looking forward to the day when they start talking about me. And I just deliberately say things I know that will make them mad. I mean, I believe what I'm saying, but I don't say it in such a way that's nice. I want them to be mad. Of course, you are welcome. I'm not against my own people. I don't hate my sisters. No, I don't. You can go and look for criminal records. I've never put my hand to beat no black woman, hurt no black woman, make a black woman get an abortion or do anything. I can't stand black men that are cruel to black women. I don't like it. I can't deal with it. I want people that care about one another, respect one another. If you can't, I'm telling you, when you can't get along with a woman, leave her alone. Don't put your hands on no woman. And don't lay down with her if you don't want to keep her. Okay? That's what I'm telling people. Love neighbor as self. We used to be down with that. We used to be down with that. In fact, were my mother not alive, were it not for a black woman would have been taking care of me. Not because I can't work, but you know what I'm going to just say to you? The Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. Everyone talks about the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. But hold on. Here's this question isn't a smart one, but I'll answer it. Are you against white people coming on your show? No. I actually was supposed to have some white people a few weeks ago who are good friends of mine. I don't hate people. I hate injustice. I hate racism. I hate intolerance. I hate coonism. I don't like people who are nasty. I don't like ungodly, wicked people. Um, so but I'm not going to just make this hand something over. And forgive me, you would be an African. Why do Africans always demand that black people who've been raped by white people mix white people up and all this stuff? Why do y'all run after white people? Why do y'all kiss white people's ass so much, Africans? And a lot of niggas here that are always pressing us to claim Africans, but the Africans that come over here are 10 times whiter than a mulatto like myself. Why? Just asking. And so my confidence in being a black man, okay, brother B, he's got to leave. My confidence in being a black person doesn't mean that I dislike white people. It does mean I don't like racism or oppression, and I don't like tribalism from Africa or sectarian nativism from people from the Caribbean or Afro Latins who are black one minute, white the next. So I don't hate people who are from anywhere. So against white people, absolutely foolish. It's a shallow assessment of where I'm coming from. No disrespect, but it's shallow. Why not be? In fact, why do I have to have white people? Let me ask you, Africans, how many black Americans do you have come on your shows or platforms? I've dealt with Africans. When you get around Africans, they exclude. Black Americans don't want to hear nothing we have to say. They want to talk all along and talk all around you and not even know anything. Come to America, be here 40 years and never know anything about black Americans. I was on a show with a bunch of Nigerians. The man said it took him 20 years to find out he was black in America. That's incredibly shallow. So, I never tell people from any country, any group, how to be or do what they are because I don't have the right to. God made nations and people, not me. My only issue is don't dog me for not being in your nation, and I won't dog you for not being in mine. Um, I would tell anybody. So I'm most comfortable with people who have dignity. However, my main mission right now is to make an impact on my very lost black American brothers and sisters. Black Americans in such bad shape. I spent 20 some odd years of my life doing advocacy around Africans and Afro Latins. And I recognize that I've been ignoring my own people in such bad shape that they need us to pay attention to home. I'm sort of like a bad preacher, the preacher who takes care of everybody but his own family. I'm gonna put this comment up here. Nay Willis, it says Africans that come here are often the best smarts in their families. They work hard and don't understand what they've seen in the hood. Nay, that's fantasy. Many of the Africans that come here are some of the worst in Africa. They collaborate with the governments that exploit, rape, and dog the people there, and that's how they get their ability to travel because they're enemies of the people in the countries from which they come. They're not necessarily the smartest. They're the most assimilated towards wanting to be Europeans. They're the ones that dislike their own people the most. And so they're not the smartest. And they may be rich, but their richness comes off of getting pennies on the dollar for what's ripped off from their country's great riches. So it's a myth. And there are plenty of broke, ignorant Africans that come here. They commit crimes. The jails are full of them. I would challenge you, if you look at the FBI's most wanted list, you will find people from Africa who are wanted for all kinds of crimes. Real talk. Real talk. I remember many years ago looking at the FBI's most wanted. Much to my shock, all the black people that the FBI wanted were not from the United States. I would have thought that most of the criminals would be black Americans. I'm reasonable. I know we've got no good black Americans, but there are no good crooked Africans that come here. They're involved in human trafficking. At one point, 60% of the dope on the east coast of the United States was brought here by Nigerians. Real talk. So many Africans are involved in criminal activities, identity theft, fraud, and they've contributed very little to us and to themselves. And it's not just Nigerians that scam. Cameroonians scam, Senegalese scam, Sierra Leonean scam. I mean, there's scammers all over the place in Africa. Real talk. Am I saying all Africans are scammers? No. I'm saying some Africans scam. And Nigerians have the most egregious reputation of West Africans. I wish that wasn't the case. The dope may be made in Afghanistan, but they're now using Nigerians to take it to Asia, to take it to Singapore and China. Oh yes, you go and look. People taking the dope into Saudi Arabia, and even the people involved in human trafficking. There's a heavy amount of this. So please don't put Africans on a platform, on a pedestal. They're good Africans, they're bad Africans, they're righteous Africans, they're not righteous Africans. We don't need to bridge the gap. We need to get ourselves together first. And the righteous people will find each other. We don't need to run after. Stop running after Africans. We need to run after the people here. Find those here that are strong and let us build up something. Why are we always trying to connect to other people? No disrespect, sister, but there's a weakness in black women of always wanting to build bridges. They can't build a bridge to the next black man. Can't build a bridge to the next black woman. Can't build a bridge to have natural hair or natural eyes or natural nails. They can't build a bridge not to abort the baby inside of them. Real talk. It's 3:01. I've been doing this 3 hours. It's time to stop. I'm going to come back in a couple of hours. We are great by ourselves, but we do need others. I am not against my friends in Africa or Brazil, but I understand, as in the words of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home and there's no people like your own. For those are the truly your real people. In the words of Yeshua, the Messiah, Jesus, who is my mother, my brother, my sister? Those that do the will of God the Father. When you find righteous people amongst them, they will always be your friends and family. That should be the standard for people in the diaspora and even white people who are truly righteous. And what I mean by white folks, you shouldn't accommodate white supremacy or racism and try to just build a bridge with them to the point where you ignore egregious racism. In fact, we should stop seeking other people and seek the Most High and righteous people. There are people out here, and you don't need many. And the scriptures are plain. The road that goes to hell is wide and lots of people on it. Look for the narrow road. Look for the righteous few and work with them. The day is over for us to beg people to come together about what's right or to try to educate people. If they can't see, they're never going to see. Um, I'm going to just put this up here. There are people from Africa that hate Africa. They hate it when they're there. They hate it when they come here. They don't ever want to go back. They make millions here, but never send it back. They're always running after white people. There's been a succession of Africans being murdered by white people in the United States because they run after white folks, get killed by white folks, and people are too ashamed. They don't want to go back. No one talks about it. It's real talk. It's happening. But I'm not mad at them. A person that's African has a right to have a different perception of reality. I would never try to make a Nigerian see the world like a black American. Why should I do that? They're not a black American. They need to learn on their terms. See, they can always go back to where they came from. Okay, so I'm not mad at people from the Caribbean or anywhere else that do how they see things. They're supposed to be different. We waste a lot of time wanting people to like us or be like us instead of liking ourselves. That's our fault, not theirs. Living in Africa can be nice if you know the right people. Africa's not bad. I've never given Africa negative reviews. I've always said it's beautiful in Africa. If you know people, you meet the right people in Africa, it's a wonderful experience to even stay if you can make things work. Nothing's wrong with Africa. If you have the money, the skills, and the ability to make it work out, Africa can be a wonderful experience. I can't wait to go back to Africa. And I love going to Africa. I would tell anyone that. I mean, but I'm honest about Africa. There's hunger, poverty, war, tribalism, like any place else. I've noticed that a lot of black Americans are really fucked up in their brain. They've got to make Africa this heaven on earth in order to not feel inferior about being who they are. Africa has to be perfect. No slavery, no prostitution, no gays. Africa's just wonderful. Otherwise, I'm not shit and I'm a piece of, like all the white people say. And we're unbalanced. We're very, 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 very unbalanced. So it's time for me to go. Uh, love and peace. Um, Most of what we're going to talk about is Black Americans and but I'm not going to devote a lot of time to it. And so we're not going to be detracted. So, Africans, foreigners, and others, this is a Black American thing. Unless I do a foreign topic like friends from Ivory Coast or whatever, it will be about us. The same way I've been in little African discussion groups, and I quit a group because the Africans never ever want to deal with anything that had anything to do with Black Americans. Never. They never want anything to do with anything about Black Americans other than us supporting them, doing what they want for what they got, and later for us. I've actually experienced this. It's like, wow, so be it. So peace to everyone, blessings to everyone. I may be back 9:30, 10 o'clock, and just uh, drop in some more knowledge. So uh, goodbye for right now. MFM, everybody. Oh, look at DeAndre. Hey, how you doing, brother? MFM to everybody, and don't get vaxxed. Don't get whacked, right? Don't get vaxxed. Okay. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Blessings and peace. I want to hear from more people in Delaware. I want to hear from folks. Y'all got my email. It's up here. I would love more guests. I don't want to be the only person talking. I talk well, but believe it or not, I get tired. Uh, I get tired. I want someone else to talk. Believe it or not, I'm not obsessed with me. Okay, so brother DeAndre, I need to have you at some point do an interview. Shalom, peace, love. God bless y'all. I'm out. Talk y'all later.